Now in Washington, GOP House members continue closed-door meetings as they have a nominee, Louisiana Congressman and Majority Leader Steve Scalise. What they do not have is enough votes to get him elected yet.
We know that Steve Scalise is meeting with some of those holdout votes behind closed doors and making phone calls and trying to get votes in his column. We know that there's other horse trading going on amongst other members, according to sources that I've talked to, but they're nowhere near getting in the position that they would need to have a vote today, it looks like, that would put Steve Scalise in the Speaker's chair.
It's ABC's Jay O'Brien reporting there is no vote scheduled at this time, not today, not tomorrow. Of course, that could change if these closed-door meetings yield any movement. In Israel, the number of dead continues to increase. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken hearing the pleas from Israelis for support.
Thank you for being here. It's really important. And if there's any way to help, first priority are our friends and family that are now in Gaza.
Secretary Blinken in that emotional encounter at a donation center in Israel. That woman, a survivor, fighting back tears. Blinken earlier at a joint news conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu detailing out loud atrocities committed by Hamas in that weekend attack. Overseas in Brussels at NATO headquarters, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin.
Nobody should try to take advantage of this vile Hamas assault to cause more bloodshed or instability.
Airstrikes have continued on Gaza, but of yet no ground invasion as hundreds of thousands of Israeli troops amass at the border. Could have some movement from the Wisconsin State Assembly on a funding package for American Family Field. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos predicting there could be a committee vote as early as still this week.
Hopefully it'll have a good, strong bipartisan support, and it gets to the Assembly through the same way.
Now, the bill would allocate $614 million in public funding from the state, city of Milwaukee, and Milwaukee County to repair and renovate American Family Field over the next 20-plus years. The Brewers would agree then to a lease deal through 2050. A Wisconsin school superintendent who ended his district's free lunch program is facing calls to resign. Parents in Manitowoc circulating a petition to remove Jim File from his position. They say they've got more than 600 signatures from parents upset File removed that free lunch program from Manitowoc schools.
He should resign or be terminated. Let's go 4 to 6 weeks without a superintendent. It can't go worse than it is already.
To come here and say you're teaching parents a lesson? You're not teaching anybody anything.
File telling, however, NBC 26 News in Green Bay he has no plans to give up his position.
Some of my most vocal critics have become my strongest supporters because in the end it always came down to they finally recognized that it's always been about the kids.
And File says he didn't end free lunch, insisting all principals in the district still have the authority to waive lunch fees for any student whom they feel needs financial assistance. Time for news about your money. WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow Jones Industrial Average off 85 points right now to 33,719. The S&P 500 is down as well, down about 8 points to 4368. And the Nasdaq sitting at 13,657. That's off just a couple of points. It is time for Annex Wealth Management's Tax Smart Planning Review. They'll review, assess, and provide strategies you can use. Go to annexwealth.com/taxsmart. Sports, traffic, weather are next. Signing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 12:04.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
This is a year of change for Wisconsin football. Whether it's a new quarterback or coach, our teams will be exciting to watch this season. As Wisconsin's 3PL, Evans Transportation knows a thing or two about changing things up when it comes to manufacturers' accounting, shipping, and tracking needs. Call Evans if your supply chain team isn't running on all cylinders this season. Good luck to our Wisconsin football teams from Wisconsin's 3PL in Delafield. Find them at evanstrans.com. That's evanstrans.com.
Hey, this is Steve Scafidi for Advent. I had some snoring issues that kept my wife up at night. That led to poor sleep and a lot of tired mornings on the radio, and nobody wants that, trust me. Put it simply, my nose wasn't working the way it should. I decided to go to Advent for a quick 30-minute visit, one of their great facilities, talked to a bunch of their doctors. They really put me at ease. After a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed, they determined the root cause of my problem had to do with my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle until I went to see Advents. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, and my wife and I are both back to sleeping through the whole night. The best sleep we've ever had. That could be you. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your life and your nights a whole lot better, go to AdventKnows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update.
The Milwaukee Bucks will be a sight to see on Sunday afternoon. Head coach Adrian Griffin and GM John Horst joined NBA on ESPN to lay out the team's plan for the debut of Giannis and Damian Lillard.
Count on Sunday. It's the next time that we want to see them out there in live competitive play. So it's an exciting time for us, but, it's this process, and we're just taking step by step.
Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs, and the Philadelphia Phillies go on for the 10-2 Game 3 win over the Atlanta Braves to take the 2-1 series lead. The Diamondbacks are also moving on. After a 3-game sweep of the LA Dodgers, they go on for the 4-2 win, and the Astros take care of the Minnesota Twins by a final of 3-2. They'll face off with the Texas Rangers in the ALCS. And Week 6 of the NFL season kicks off tonight with a matchup of the Denver Broncos visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Storm team forecast from meteorologist Brendan Johnson at TMJ4 News. Scattered showers are starting to move into the area now for this afternoon. High of 58 degrees. Showers likely tonight and windy as well. Low down to 52. And then we get super wet. Moderate to heavy rain through Friday. Cloudy and windy. High 58. Saturday's high 57 with a chance for some dry periods. Scattered showers. Cloudy and windy. Sunday's high 55 with a chance of showers lakeside, otherwise mostly cloudy and breezy. And looking ahead to the work week next week, slight chance of showers on Monday, mostly cloudy, breezy, high of 55. Right now in Madison, 53 degrees, Green Bay's at 55, Waukesha 55, and that's the number in Milwaukee as well, 55 degrees. I'm Vince Vitrano, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 12:07.
Traffic is sponsored by Built Right Furniture, Leather and Mattresses.
For affordable, better quality furniture and mattresses, you've got to get to Built Right today. Built Right Furniture saves you money. 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, it's the Jeff Wagner Show. Come join the conversation on the Old National Bank talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Old National Bank. Get old. Now, here's WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
Okay, so Vince, you want to do the traffic?
Yes.
Would you like to do the traffic at the start of my program? I would be honored. Go ahead.
Peek behind the curtain, I completely blew right through the traffic, so that's my bad on that. The Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. Actually, not much to report here. For whatever reason, without accidents, I have seen things crawling last couple of days through the construction zone on I-41. So it's real slow southbound on I-41 in Wauwatosa, just about Hampton Avenue all the way down to North Avenue before things loosen up. And going the other direction for some reason, northbound 41, a little bit slow from Silver Spring Drive up to Good Hope. But no accidents associated with that. Rest of the system looks good.
All right, there we go. Glad to have that.
Good. Made the Johnson & Sons happy.
Absolutely. Glad to have that, and glad to hear that the traffic, for a change at least, is not as screwed up as it typically is. Bad news for everybody, including myself. Okay, so last night, this has been my week to go to funerals, and so yesterday, get home from work. A friend of ours, her visitation was yesterday at 4 o'clock, so our friends are picking us up, so we're going to go together. As we're driving to the funeral home, and we're a couple minutes early, all of a sudden, it occurs to me, I don't have Powerball tickets. And so I'm riding. I said, Alan, pull into this gas station. And everybody's like, what's going on? I said, we got to get Powerball tickets. So I thought maybe, the fact that, we were attending this visitation, maybe that would be good karma and stuff. And
yes, that your loved one would shine down upon
Right,
you.
exactly. Right. Well, so what we did is we each bought $20 worth of tickets, and we decided that we would split them. Now, I don't know how they did, our friends Alan and Patty. I don't know how they did. I haven't heard yet. And I don't know if they're holding out on us. But for us, it was $4. It was a Powerball and one number, so that's $4. So actually, my wife was joining them today, and she took $2 to give it, because we were going to give our share of that, because we were going to split it half to half.
That's what you agreed to. Isn't it amazing when you rattle off like a big, if you have a big haul where you buy, or if you enter into the pool as well and you buy like 50 tickets or whatever it is, and you look at how few of those turn out to be winners of any kind, right?
This is the second time in a row that I've done that. It's $20. That's and again, that's like lighting $20 on fire. But nevertheless, that's the number that I'm comfortable with. And the last time, Powerball and one number, which is $4. This time, out of like 10 separate entries, Powerball and one number, which is $4.
Small town in Southern California, I believe.
Frazier Park, Southern
2,500
California.
people, unincorporated.
Right. Whopping $1.73 billion jackpot. $1.73 billion jackpot. And there's something about California because the other giant Powerball jackpot winner was in California, too, downtown Los Angeles over the summer.
Some of that's just a statistics game, right? I mean, one of the most popular states, of course, they're going to have more players. Actually, Wisconsin probably outkicks its coverage on that, given how many big lotto winners that we've had versus, relevant to our population. We're still, what 6 million?
Yep. But if you happen to have been at the Midway Market and Liquor in Frazier Park, California,
it's good times over there today.
Right. Well, see, I also think it's interesting that you wonder if the person that bought it even knows, because I don't know about you, but I mean, I buy the tickets, I put them on the counter, and then it's not like I wait for the numbers to come out. I mean, it's just there, and then like this morning, it's like, wonder what the Powerball tickets were. Sure. So I kind of like pull it up and look at them, and it's I got $4 back on my 20. Oh, that's not a good investment. But I wonder, if how many people that bought tickets at the Midway Market and Liquor in Frazier Park, California, are now waking up going, holy, you know what, this might be me.
I suppose they're a few hours behind us. I hadn't thought of that. I mean, no winner had emerged or was even rumored as of this morning. You'd have to think if it's somebody from that town. It could have been a passerby, right, or somebody kept passing on through. I hope that's not it. I hope it's somebody from this small town. And if it is, like, that person's still out.
Right. Yeah, so in other words, you hope it wasn't Elon Musk, driving through, who stopped off
some
to buy
fancy
these.
Pants on their way back from the mountains where they did a bougie hike or something like that.
Okay, so what do? You are the one that has cashed in at the Midway Market and Liquor in Frazier Park. The prize, and the way this works is that it's $1.73 billion is what the thing is worth. So what you can do, your choice is $756 million. And the way they calculate this is they buy an annuity. And it all depends on what the interest rates are. So they buy an annuity to get you to the $1.73 billion, and that annuity costs $756 million. So the choice is $756 million or 30 annual installments, equaling $1.73 billion. Which one do you do?
I think all the financial experts tell you to take the lump sum and then bring it in-house, then you have it, and then allow them to manage that for you, so ultimately you get a higher return on it. I mean, like at this point when you're talking like nearly $1 billion, like, I don't know if it matters that much.
Well, okay, well, yeah, $756 million, so you pay taxes. Let's say half of it goes to taxes, so now you're down.
Didn't they take the taxes off the top of that? Isn't that so?
No,
you're still paying taxes on it?
You're paying taxes on the $756 million. No, so so $756 million. So taxes probably knocks it down to $375 million.
Now we're poor. We're just regular little paupers.
That's it. I mean, gosh, I got to figure out how many Gulfstreams I want to purchase. Things. Yeah, no, I take the money too. I mean, because what the heck, What do I care about kids and grandkids and what do you care about multi-generational wealth? I want it all now.
Is there a number at which, like, I often think about this, like, I'm not saying I'd turn it down, but I'd rather win $1 million maybe than or $10 million than one of these nearly $1 billion or whatever, because is there any way you emerge from that not screwed up?
Yes.
Like, the track record is pretty good.
Absolutely.
Really? You have full confidence.
I have absolutely no problem at all.
You're not going to be a deadbeat in the streets of Vegas or something like that?
Absolutely. No. It has never even occurred to me that, to say, okay, like $5 million isn't going to screw up my life, but $375 million, no, absolutely not. But you're right. It is amazing how many people aren't prepared for that type of thing, but I'll settle. My favorite thing is the people who only wait till the Powerball gets up to 500 million or $1 billion before they buy tickets. Now, I mean, again, it's like, okay, if you win 50 million, that's not going to be a life-changing experience.
Right. Chump change.
Yeah. Now the odds are the same. I mean, the odds are the same, but still, okay, I'll take 50 million. Take the lump sum. Let's say that's 25 million. Pay taxes on it, 12 million. It's okay. I'm still down there. I'm with it.
Like just a taste where I don't have to worry about money. That's all I'm saying. Is like you continue doing your life, you continue doing your things. You're largely a normal person, but you don't worry that I'm not going to have enough for the college, or I'm not going to have enough for the car payment.
Okay, so you win $50 million, you're going to continue doing what you're doing.
Well, I don't know about that. At least the day after, though, Jeff, this question is always that I am definitely going to work.
Okay.
It might be a little looser behind the microphone.
Right, exactly. And it might be the show you definitely want to listen to.
That's
I understand.
Right.
Well,
but I'm coming in.
At the moment, Vince is continuing to come in because he didn't win it and I didn't win it. That means... All right, 2 hours and 45 minutes worth of radio magic coming up. When we come back, the final Jeopardy answer is, of course it wasn't his first time at the rodeo. What's the question? Stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this. Wisconsin's Morning News.
Things you don't want to hear from your mechanic, your doctor, or the head coach from your football team.
Listen to Vince Vitrano every weekday starting at 6 a.m.
Obviously searching for a little bit of answers right now.
I think I want to hear that.
Start the day with what you need to know.
Things like looking for answers, and I thought we did that last week, but I guess we'll try again this week.
I thought we already fixed that in the car.
Only here on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
For over 6 decades, Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland has made wishes come true for everyone. Starting Saturday at 7 a.m., the tradition continues during Blaine's Toyland opening weekend. Like half-off Barbie travel dolls, just $9.99. Hot Wheels multi-loop race-off sets, only $19.99. And assorted mini brands are buy one, get one half price. Plus, rewards members get a free $5 gift card with every $50 Toyland purchase. Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland, where wishes come true for everyone. Starting Saturday at 7 a.m.
This holiday season, give the gift of a delicious experience to your family, colleagues, and clients with Milwaukee Food and City Tours. Board a bus and let our tour guides show you some of Santa's favorites on our Christmas Bakery Bus Tour. It's an action-packed 3-hour tour complete with stops at 5 bakeries in your choice of Milwaukee or Chicago. Whether they've been naughty or nice, everyone walks away with cookies and memories together. Book your Christmas Bakery Bus Tour for your office or family online at MilwaukeeFoodTours.com.
Old National Bank.
I just got your home equity loan, and this feeling of joy and exhilaration overcame me.
Yeah, it's a phenomenon we call getting old.
Wow, so I'm not the only one?
No, small business owners feel it with expansion loans. Families feel it when they're setting up trusts and 529s. Nonprofits who need financing to help the community. And anyone who needs investment advice. They all feel it.
So it's not just me?
No, you're in a pretty big club.
Like a club I can join?
I really don't.
Is there at least a secret handshake?
Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Old National. Get old. Member FDIC.
When you see our selection of gently worn brand name girls and women's clothing, you'll love what you find, and you'll love the prices. So low that you won't believe your eyes. At St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, you'll find something cute, maybe a whole new outfit for so much less. Gently worn brand name clothing at far below retail. You're gonna love it. On Highway 100 at Layton and Greenfield, and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
Back for more. Here's WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
All right. Here is the story. A 34-year-old Milwaukee man is now charged in connection with a fatal crash at Locust and Hubbard on October 4th. The accused is D'Angelo Wallace, and he faces the following criminal counts: homicide by negligent operation of a vehicle and knowingly operating a motor vehicle while suspended, causing death. All right, here's what happened. According to the criminal complaint, Milwaukee police were dispatched to Locust and Hubbard around 11:30 a.m. on Wednesday, October 4th. So a week ago yesterday, 11:30 in the morning, We're not talking about 2 o'clock at night, 11:30 in the morning, when kids are out on the streets, when business people are out on the streets, when folks are out about. All right, 911 callers indicated that a vehicle, a Saturn, was wrapped around a tree and people were trapped inside the vehicle. When officers arrived on the scene, citizens standing nearby said there was a woman passenger in the vehicle, later identified as Julie Collins. Collins later died from blunt force injuries. So she was killed as a result of the car wreck. The driver, later identified as D'Angelo Wallace, was laying on the sidewalk. An officer spoke with Wallace, and Wallace admitted to driving the Saturn and claimed he was driving only 15 miles an hour. Okay. Scene investigators noted the damage to the vehicle is consistent with a high-speed impact and not driving 15 miles an hour. The complaint also notes that tire marks measured 130 feet long and indicated a counterclockwise rotation of the Saturn as it traveled towards the tree that it struck. So you've got this car moving at an incredibly high rate of speed. They slam on the brakes, he loses control of the car, and it crashes into the tree, passenger dead. A witness spoke with police and said that she saw the Saturn behind her swerving between lanes, passing other vehicles as it traveled eastbound. She stated the Saturn was traveling at a high rate of speed. The witness said at one point the Saturn was following her car closely and the driver attempted to go from the right lane into the left lane when there wasn't enough room to safely do so. In other words, something that happens on a regular basis around here, every 5 minutes. The witness told police she slammed on her brakes and hit the horn. She indicated if she didn't hit the brakes, her car would have been hit. The Saturn lost control, started spinning, hit the tree. The complaint says Wallace, this is the guy who's driving the car, who was thrown, apparently either got out of the car after the crash or was thrown from the car, told a detective he knew his license was suspended. According to Fox 6, a further check on Wallace's DOT driving record showed he had been issued an instructional permit, but had never had a formal driver's license in Wisconsin. Okay, so that's the background of D'Angelo Wallace, at least in connection with the driving. He never had a driver's license beyond this instructional permit. He's 34 years old. Now somebody is dead. I became curious. Gee, was this his first time at the rodeo? Was this the day that he just woke up and said, you know what, I'm going to be driving without a license. I'm going to be driving a Saturn at this high rate of speed. I'm going to be swerving in and out of traffic. And, now somebody's dead as a result of this. What? Give me a capsule picture of the life of D'Angelo Wallace before he killed this woman in the car. Well, thanks to the Wisconsin Circuit Court access, where you can check people's records. And one of the interesting things is, for whatever reason, newspapers don't do this. TV stations rarely do this. Nobody looks at the background. And it's really, it takes a few minutes to do it. You have to know what you're doing. But nobody looks at the background of these people. So before D'Angelo Wallace killed this woman driving in a reckless fashion a week ago yesterday, what, give me a picture of his life. Well, let me give you a little picture of his life. November 9th, 2006, charged with battery. He would have been 17 or 18 at the time, charged with battery, misdemeanor, sentenced on February 1st, 2007 to 90 days in the House of Correction. All right. Flash forward to, charged February 14th, 2009, convicted July 30th, 2009, possession of cocaine with intent to distribute, a felony. 25 months in prison, 50 months on supervision. All right. Maybe he learned his lesson, right? Think that solved the problem? Nope. Then let's flash forward. So he's obviously out of prison. April 10th of 2016. Possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Convicted and sentenced on October 31st, 2016. So here you have the guy, possession of cocaine with intent to distribute, gets out of prison, gets caught, felon in possession of a gun. 1 year. 1 year in prison, 2 years of supervision. Okay, how did that work out? Well, got an idea. October 31st, 2018, charged with distribution of heroin, convicted, sentenced in June of 2019. I cannot tell you what the sentence was because for whatever reason, this was in Washington County, and the actual sentence is not showing up on the guy's record. So I don't know what happened to him as a result of the possession of heroin with intent to distribute conviction, along with another bunch of charges that were read in. But we know that he had to have been released, well, reasonably quickly because he was out on the streets, driving without a license last week, a week ago, Wednesday, in this position where he hit and killed somebody. Look, here's the bottom line of all this. You could play this very, very tragic game on a regular basis. If you look at the people who are involved in some of the worst sort of conduct, whether it's criminal activity or whether it's stuff like this, the reckless driving leading to death and things like that, dollars to donuts, when you go back, you are going to find that you had people that were in and out of the revolving door criminal justice system over and over and over again, bringing me to my point of, if we think we're doing people a favor by slapping them on the wrist, we're not, because all we're doing is making sure that they're going to come back, get out on the streets in a relatively quick period of time, and then reoffend, sometimes in spectacular sort of fashions. And again, I don't know what the guy's last sentence was for the conviction for dealing heroin, after the conviction for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, after the conviction for possession of cocaine with intent to distribute. But we know it didn't keep him in prison for that long because he was out on the streets, driving without a driver's license in a reckless sort of fashion, and now somebody is dead. In this case, it was a passenger in his car, but it could have been a passenger in some other car. It could have been an innocent bystander. It could have been kids on the street. When you have people who appear to be, for all intents and purposes, habitual criminals, not holding them accountable when they end up getting convicted, does nobody any favors. And I say when they end up getting convicted because here is the reality, and I'm not talking about this guy in particular, I'm talking about in general. As much respect as I have for law enforcement, and I do, the truth is, unless the criminal is extremely unlucky, law enforcement doesn't catch somebody the first time they commit a crime. Now, it might be that, you get caught for dealing heroin and that's the first time you did it. But chances are you've been doing it for a long, long time. It's like the first time you get caught for driving without a license or the first time you get caught for drunk driving or whatever. Maybe, just maybe, it's the first time you've done it and you're the unluckiest you-know-what in the world. But typically, you've been doing it for a long time and you just haven't been caught. So whenever you see somebody with a record of, criminal convictions that dates back, 17 years, and there are multiple convictions, my guess is it's somebody that's also been involved in other criminal activity along the way that they've never been held accountable for. Another one of these examples where not dropping the hammer on someone, especially after their third or fourth conviction for serious offenses, does nobody any favors. And in some cases, even though it's not necessarily predictive that, this person that we let out of jail early or whatever, didn't sentence them to long as far as we should have on dealing heroin or possession of a gun by a convicted felon, we didn't necessarily know that the next thing they did was going to be to drive without a license and hit and kill somebody. But you know that the chances of them doing something, really positive are not great. So that's the story of this crash. But my challenge is, just do this on a daily basis. See some of these people who are involved in these horrific things, check on their criminal record, and maybe if the media would do this, it would make it easier, but it's not going to reflect well on the criminal justice system. It goes back to my basic point that most people are good. Most people go through their entire lives with little or no contact with law enforcement. Maybe you get stopped for a speeding ticket or something like that, but very, very little contact. The people, though, that law enforcement runs into are a lot of times it's the same. It's the repeat offenders over and over and over and over and over again. And until we get those people either to stop committing crimes, good luck with that, or get them off the streets and keep them off the streets for long periods of time, we are all going to set ourselves up to be a nation of victims. All right, when we come back, let's talk about what's going on in the Middle East. I've got several provocative questions.
More Jeff Wagner right after this. Your way inside the huddle.
Hit one, hit two,
without putting on any pads.
Hike.
It's Green and Gold Insiders on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
No one's going to feel sorry for you. Matt LaFleur likes to tell us that all the time. No one's going to say, oh, well, these poor guys, they have all these rookies. We're going to take it easy on them. Nobody's going to do that.
Every day of the regular season at 4:15, it's Green and Gold Insiders all season long, right here on WTMJ.
Sweetest Day is almost here. Think about how much your sweetheart means to you. WTMJ's John Merck here. I've got a great idea for you. Take the love of your life to the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club for a free dinner. Enjoy your favorite steak, ribs, seafood, pasta, even steak and lobster, and prime rib, and your second dinner is free, even on Sweetest Day. Desserts and those huge ice cream drinks, buy one, get one free. With the fall colors here, now is the time to experience the Fox and Hounds. Tucked right into the Kettle Moraine Forest, the setting is spectacular, and your second dinner is free. Sip on a delicious old-fashioned, check out a Manhattan, bourbon, or choose from over 100 fine wines. The Fox and Hounds is a Top Choice Award winner for fine dining and most romantic restaurant. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the famous Holy Hill Shrine, the colorful drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest is breathtaking. A true must-see. Reserve today. Tables fill quickly for Sweetest Day with that free dinner. FoxandHoundsRestaurant.com.
Hey, Sandy Max of WTMJ here. I've been telling you all summer about my friends at 3 Pillars. They are Wisconsin's top-rated continuing care retirement community, and they're located in a gorgeous nature-filled spot in the village of Dousman, smack dab in the middle of Lake Country. Continuing care means every facet: independent living, assisted living, skilled nursing, and rehab. That means whatever you need, 3 Pillars is the best. And you deserve the best in your retirement. Learn more at 3pillars.org.
Your first date? Going well. The carnival? Cash only. But you've got this, just like Associated Bank's got you, with access to over 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs. So when you decide to win that giant stuffed purple raccoon at $5 a throw, we're looking out for you, no matter how many throws it takes. You've got this, with 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
You're listening to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Okay, there is little doubt that Iran, which is the principal sponsor of terrorism in the world, was behind the Hamas attack on Israel over the weekend. Nothing happens with regard to these terrorist organizations like Hamas or Hezbollah, which is the terrorist group that operates out of Lebanon, which is to the north of Israel. Nothing occurs without the blessing of Hamas. And Iran, without the blessing of Iran. Iran is dedicated to the elimination of Israel as an independent state. That's it. They want Israel gone. They want Iran, the country, wants to reclaim that land, and if it means eliminating everybody that lives in Israel, that is the ultimate goal of the terrorist attack. Everybody who has seen the video, or at least almost everybody, I think should be appalled by this. You have it's one thing when you have wars between nations and armies and things like that. There are some rules. Wait a minute, Jeff, you mean rules? Well, yeah, there are rules of engagement. And while civilians are inevitably casualties of wars, there's no question about it, civilians are typically not the targets. In this particular case, Hamas decided they were going to try to massacre as many innocent men, women, and children as they could. They took hostages. They beheaded people. They continue to behead people as well. A lot of people they suspect have been buried alive. The estimates are that of all the people, the over 1,000 people that were killed, there's 27 Americans that were killed, and there's 14, this is the latest news out of the White House, 14 still missing. And the speculation is that several of those 14 may be being held as hostages. All right, so the question becomes, what do you do? Because on the one hand, you've got Israel that is responding in kind. They feel that they have been attacked. And their argument is, hey, look, this is our 9/11. Nobody told the United States, don't go after the people that ended up doing this. You can't, United States, tell us not to retaliate. The problem, of course, is Hamas, which is a terrorist organization. They run Gaza. Gaza is 2.5 million people crammed into a 25-mile long, 7.5-mile stretch of land. And what Hamas does is it's not like where we have military bases. Hamas uses its terrorist activities. They commingle with civilians. So here we're going to put a Hamas's center in a mosque. We're going to put it in an apartment building. So if you strike at us, you're inevitably going to take out some civilians. So that's why when Israel retaliates with airstrikes and things like that, there is, I don't even want to say collateral damage, but there's civilians who end up getting killed because that is the way that Hamas operates. So it's a mess, and there's no question about this. But at the end of the day, it's Iran that is behind all this stuff because none of the terrorism that goes on in the Middle East goes on without the blessing and, in many cases, the financial support of Iran. So the question becomes, what does the U.S. do now? And there's a couple specific aspects of this that I want to discuss with you. First, let's go back a couple weeks. In a deal to, and I'm going to use the word ransom. I know the White House doesn't like this word, but that's what it was. Iran was holding, you will remember this, 5 or 6 Americans with dual citizenship. They had the citizenship of Iran, and Iranian citizenship and American citizenship. They were being held as prisoners for various sort of trumped-up charges, but what they really were political prisoners. Joe Biden made a deal, which many of us, self included, criticized at the time, freed up $6 billion in Iranian oil money that had been tied up because of sanctions, freed it up to go to Iran. Now, the kind of asterisk behind that is the deal was, well, Iran was only supposed to be allowed to use this money for, quote unquote, and if you're watching us on the YouTube channel, I'm making the air quotes here, quote unquote, humanitarian purposes. And this was supposed to be governed, the country of Qatar was supposed to administer this. But as we've talked about a lot, money is fungible. So if you have, let's say you need to have money for a food program and you're paying for it out of your right pocket, suddenly you get $6 billion that's released. You can use that money to pay for the food program, and the money that you were using to fund the food program, you can use it for other things like, I don't know, rockets and training militants and terrorists and things of the like. So this $6 billion still hasn't, I guess, gone to Iran. And the question becomes, all right, what should happen now? Of all people, Democratic U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin, who has been photographed over the years with, people associated with the pro-Palestinian cause. Yesterday, this is the way the local newspaper reports it, Tammy Baldwin joined calls for the Biden administration to refreeze $6 billion in Iranian assets following the Hamas attack on Israel that left thousands dead. President Joe Biden unfroze the billions in Iranian oil revenues last month as part of the prisoner agreement. Baldwin says, until I have full confidence that Iran did not play a role in these barbaric terrorist attacks on the Israeli people, the U.S. should freeze the $6 billion in Iranian assets. And by the way, in making this call, for the first time in a long time, I think Baldwin finds herself aligned with a number of Republicans in Congress. So here's the question. The money has not gone to Iran yet. Should the government essentially renege the U.S. government renege on its agreement to release this money to Iran, at least until they are sure that Iran was not responsible or complicit in this Hamas attack. And let me give you a dose of reality. That means Iran would never get the money, because there's no question that Iran was complicit in this. 855-616-1620. Should the United States renege on the agreement to release $6 billion in oil revenue to Iran until we are able to determine whether or not Iran knew about the attack in Israel? 855-616-1620. Of all the different questions I asked today and the discussions we have, to me, this is absolutely the easiest. I'll give you my answer in a minute. We discuss.
Stick around. Jeff Wagner is right around the corner.
Are you ready to start a meaningful career in healthcare? Are you looking for a job that fits your work-life balance? Become a certified direct care professional today and make life better for older adults or people with a disability. WIS Caregiver Careers makes it easy with free online training plus earn a $500 bonus. See your name on Wisconsin's Certified Direct Care Registry. Sign up today at wiscaregiverscdcp.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Are you ready for the chills and the thrills of October? Griffin dealerships are here to keep your car running smoothly. We got spooktacular deals that'll send shivers down your spine. We'll change your oil, inspect and rotate your tires, check the battery and the air filter. But that's not all. Our expert technicians will give your car a complete multi-point inspection. Make sure it's ready for the darkest and coldest nights. Worried about your AC or heat? Don't be. We'll check that too, so you'll stay comfortable on your eerie journeys. And if your wiper blades are as scary as the haunted house, we'll replace those as well. All of this for just $129.95. But remember, this offer is only available during the spookiest month of the year and only at the nearest Griffin dealership. So come see Griffin for the deals today. Good at all 5 Griffin dealerships, because when it comes to facing the cold weather, we've got you covered. Let our expert team take care of your vehicles. Drive in, drive out, drive with peace of mind with the magic. Griffin dealerships, your Halloween heroes.
The Gathering's an enigma, wrapped in a puzzle, and placed behind your sofa.
What? He means the Gathering console table from Penny Mustard. It sits behind your sofa, providing a snack bar for parties, a buffet for pizza night, and extra seating for the holidays.
How can it be all those things?
It's mysterious.
The Gathering console table, starting at just $67 a month, with only 1 penny down and no interest until October of 2025 through October 15th at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Eight 855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. So, okay, you have the U.S. makes this agreement that I thought was nuts to begin with. And I know the Biden administration doesn't like the phrase, too bad. We essentially pay ransom to Iran, $6 billion in exchange for the release of a half dozen prisoners that are being wrongfully held by Iran. And the argument is, well, this isn't U.S. Treasury money. It was oil money that was frozen. You say potato, I say potato. But now there appears to be, and there will be even more strong evidence coming forward that, nothing happens in the Middle East without Iran's blessing. Iran is already publicly trumpeting the attacks that Hamas made. Iran is committed to the destruction of Israel. So now the question is, okay, do we continue to release, do we give them $6 billion, knowing that they are going to use either that money or money that is replaced by the humanitarian money to help fund Hezbollah, to help fund Hamas? Or do we simply say, okay, look, we're refreezing this, and if you want to demonstrate that you had nothing to do with this barbarism, okay, fine, we'll look at this, but until then, you're not getting a dime. 855-616-1620. Let's start with Paul in the North Shore. Paul, you're first. Hello. Paul in the North Shore. Hi, Paul. You're on the air?
Yes, thanks for taking the call, Jeff.
Sure.
Absolutely, I think they should renege on the deal. We know that Iran's fingerprints are all over this. And I do have one caveat, and that would be if the government has intel that there's imminent danger on U.S. soil by not, releasing the funds, then I think it becomes much more muddied, and that's when people that are in charge would have to make difficult decisions. But I'd absolutely renege on it. And like I said, if there's imminent danger, then no.
Do you think there's any doubt that if Iran could figure out a way to launch some sort of repeat of 9/11 against the United States, in whatever fashion that might take, do you think that there's any doubt that they would hesitate to do it?
Not at all. Yeah. And that's why I said the waters become really muddied, especially if the government has intel on that. Now, I'm not saying they do. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Certainly, if they do, then shame on them if they do that. But
No. Thanks for calling. No,
that's say no. We're going to give you the money. Forget it.
Yeah, no, thanks. That's it. I mean, see, one of the things that's going on over the last couple of years, the Biden administration has taken a tone of, and I'm going to describe it as appeasement, and I mean that in the sense of they have felt that they can try to negotiate and contain these hostile regions. The idea is, okay, let's try to treat this terrorist organization, Hamas. Let's try to treat them as a governing operation. Let's try to treat them as we would a separate government, without understanding that that's there. As a matter of fact, there was a story I was reading today. Hamas is saying, one of the reasons Israel missed the signs, one of the reasons the United States missed the signs, is they were treating Hamas like it was an institution, an entity that was interested in governing Gaza. No, they're interested in destroying Israel, and the idea of governing Gaza was just a cover. That's the whole thing with Iran as well. Iran is dedicated to the destruction of Israel, short term. Long term, the destruction of the infidels who are in the West. I mean, that's what they're doing. And that's why I think it was appalling to make this decision to free up $6 as in billion to them in the first place. Let's talk to Dave in South Milwaukee. Dave, you're on WTMJ. Hello.
Hello. Yes, I have a couple thoughts about that. One is, first of all, Tammy Baldwin changed her mind. When you look at facts, sometimes you change your mind. Instead of being incredibly rigid, like a lot in the GOP, and never changing their mind, you need to do that when you look at the facts. The next thing is, I think the Israeli people, Jews, suffered terribly during the Holocaust. There's no forgiving anything like that. But we give a huge amount of foreign aid to Israel. Should we be giving that much more foreign aid to Israel than any other country? The second thing is they're dedicated to the destruction of the Palestinian people, and they're bombing them. I know Hamas is there.
Dave, are you? Wait a second. I want to stop. Are you arguing? Are you in any way defending what happened over the weekend? The murder of innocent men, women, and children, the beheadings?
Not at all, but I think we ought to look at it a little more intelligently. Like, how can we make structured attacks to get the individual, instead of just bombing the whole city, the whole country, the whole area where there's a huge amount of civilians there. It's kind of like we went into Afghanistan and we were just mad and we bombed the heck out of it.
And what would, tell me what that would you, do you agree that Hamas is a terrorist organization that needs to be destroyed?
100%.
Okay.
100%. Absolutely. But, bombing neighborhoods where 95% of the people are civilians.
Well, what do you do then when Hamas knowingly locates its terrorist operations inside of mosques and inside of schools and inside of apartment buildings and things of the like? What do you do? Are you in favor then of a ground war, like invading Gaza and going like door to door trying to root out Hamas?
I would say that'd be better than killing millions of civilians by just bombing, or thousands, of civilians by just arbitrarily bombing neighborhoods that innocent civilians are living in.
Okay, so what do you think is going to happen if there is the ground war and you have Israeli troops that are going door to door, neighborhood to neighborhood, getting involved in ongoing shootouts with the terrorists who are running Hamas? I mean, that there's going to be a lot of civilian casualties there as well.
Not as many.
I don't know. Thanks. I don't know if you've got a way, if we agree that the goal is the destruction of Hamas as a terrorist enterprise, and you've got better ideas as to how to do this, I think everybody's open to hearing this. I think a ground war, sending in hundreds of thousands of troops and going neighborhood by neighborhood in this narrow stretch is just, you want to talk about a recipe for an enormous number of deaths. I mean, imagine what that, in fact, is going to look like. I'm going to be the first to tell you, though, it's a mess. There's no question about it. And maybe it starts with figuring out how Hamas got to the point where it has all these rockets and it has all these munitions and it has the capability of launching the attack that it came. And that brings us back to where we started, which is we've been funding, we've been funding, we're buddying up with Iran, which is the equivalent of a North Korea or something like that. Let's take a break. Back with more calls in just a moment.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
A wiser way to build your wealth.
A wiser way to build your wealth starts with choosing a financial planning firm that is fee only, because it means they work for you. Fee-only firms like Financial Strategies, Inc. don't work for a bank or brokerage firm or an insurance company or mutual fund company, because we don't want our decisions for your best interests compromised in any way. We work for you, and only in your best interest. And fee-only means the success we care about most is yours. Ask your advisor, are you 100% fee-only for 100% of your clients 100% of the time? If they answer no, get a second opinion. I'm Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm. And I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
This is WTMJ's Jeff Wagner here to tell you about Built Right Furniture's 95th anniversary mattress sale. Shop the most unique selection with over 60 models and 500 mattresses in stock. Look, Built Right always saves you money. Don't make a mistake by ordering online or from an employee-free store. With Built Right's legitimate sale prices, you will get an exceptional value and a great night's sleep. Built Right does the research for you, and their team will take the time to help fit you. Built Right specializes in flippable two-sided mattresses and heavy-duty mattresses that hold up to 600 pounds. Plus, they offer free delivery on mattress-only purchases of $5.99 or more, and they'll remove your old mattress as well. Select model sets include a free mattress pad or a heavy-duty bed frame. Voted best place to shop and winner of the Home Furnishings Association's 2023 National Retailer of the Year Award. They're open from Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday they're closed to be with family. When you get there, be sure to tell them WTMJ's Jeff Wagner sent you to locally and family-owned Built Right, 5430 West Layton Avenue in Greenfield. This week's Wagner's home improvement expert is KohlerServicesWI.com.
Exergen thermometers are a top choice of medical professionals at highly ranked hospitals across the U.S. Accuracy matters, so make Exergen the chosen thermometer for your home and family.
If you need a place for new home interior ideas, then you have to come talk to us. Our on-staff decorators know furniture, home decor, and a lot more. And they're not only creative, but also very willing to help you make great choices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Stop in often, because our inventory changes daily.
Design Exchange.
Previously, it has been gently loved. But here, you'll only find very well-conditioned premium home decor items that you likely won't find elsewhere. Distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original art, and other tasteful home decor at a value. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
One of our texters, I'll look at this during the break, says, just came across the wire that the United States has made agreement not to give Iran any of the money. Yeah, this, of all the different questions I ask, as a matter of fact, right after the top of the hour news, I have a tougher question related to this to ask, but whether or not we should continue to free up this $6 billion, sending it to Iran so they can use either that money or other money that they no longer need to use for humanitarian purposes to fund Hezbollah or Hamas? This is the easiest question out there. Let's talk to, Bob in Fond du Lac. Bob, good afternoon.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Bob.
Thanks for taking my call. I think we have to do what makes better sense than these one-off things like paying that money, and now it's probably being used against us indirectly or definitely against Israel. And I've waffled back and forth whether we ought to let the Marines and the SEALs go in and rescue the American people.
Yep.
That are.
Yep.
Because that probably would make a war worse.
Yep.
But I also think with the sophisticated equipment the Navy and hopefully the Israelites have, they can target individual sites where the missiles came from and not indiscriminate damage. But as you pointed out earlier, they are putting their facilities to send missiles out in schools, hospitals, places that it shouldn't take place. But it's got to end, because if it doesn't get taken care of, it'll just be worse next time.
Absolutely. No, thanks for the call. One of our texters, Jeff, this is part of the plan of the attack on Israel, which apparently was 2 years in the making. Then when Iran released the hostages in the first place, they knew of the impending attack by Hamas. So this is just allowing Iran an excuse to say to the United States, you reneged if the payment isn't made, and giving Iran a reason for retaliation at the U.S. Iran doesn't need a reason for this. I mean, believe me, Iran is committed to the destruction of Israel, like I say, short term, and the destruction of the United States long term. All right, when we come back, I want to reset. I have another question. To me, freezing the money is easy. There is a much more difficult, bigger question that is facing the United States right now. I will pose that to you, and we will discuss right after the top of the hour news.
Stay tuned. Jeff Wagner returns after this on WTMJ.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me every Saturday at noon for Experience Wisconsin. We'll check in with communities across the state for the best and brightest spots around the state of Wisconsin. Some organizations thrown in there as well. This week, it's a supper club special. Bob Prosser from Ishnala and Tom Masters from the famous Fox and Hounds.
We try to go over the top because, so many people have come from all over Wisconsin.
It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturday at noon, right here on 620 WTMJ. Hey, remember, Sweetest Day is almost here. Just think how much your sweetheart means to you. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I highly recommend taking your love to the amazing Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford. It's the most affordable Sweetest Day dining destination, and it's delicious. The prime rib dinner is just $24.99. Don't spend $35 or more for prime rib. Or order your favorite steak, Italian, Mexican, a fresh salad, or juicy burger, all with big portions and super affordable. Add a delicious old-fashioned, Manhattan, or glass of wine, and buy one dessert, and your sweetheart's dessert is free. Today and on Sweetest Day. Wherever you live, it's worth the drive to the Mind Chef restaurant for the Sweetest Day prime rib dinner for under $25. In beautiful downtown Hartford and Oshkosh, lots of seating, close parking. Now that's sweet. You don't need to spend a lot of money on your Sweetest Day dinner to have a great time. Reserve now, mindchefrestaurant.com. It's the amazing Mind Chef.
Is it time to diversify your portfolio? Hi, I'm Dr. Aaron Armstrong with Steinbrenner Financial and your Dave Ramsey SmartVestor Pro. Tune into the Dave Ramsey program weeknights at 9 o'clock or visit steinbrennergroup.com to learn more.
Hosting this holiday season? Get your home dressed to impress. Ken Michaels Furniture is having a pre-holiday sale to get your new furniture to you in time. We carry thousands of fabrics, leathers, and wood finishes so you can create a look that's as unique as you are. Order now and wow your holiday guests with personalized furniture. With discounts starting at 30%, you can't beat these deals. Stop in today at Ken Michaels Furniture on Capitol Drive in Brookfield and Highway 100 in Greenfield. Give yourself the gift of beautiful beautiful, long-lasting furniture this holiday season. Our pre-holiday sale at Ken Michaels Furniture will ensure that your pieces arrive before the holidays. We're offering 35% off Amish hardwood dining sets in your choice of wood, shape, and finish. Create a holiday table that's ready for your teenager's Instagram. If you order now, you can have the furniture of your dreams by Christmas. Stop in today at Ken Michaels Furniture on Capitol Drive in Brookfield and Highway 100 in Greenfield.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here. A couple years ago, my knee was acting up. As an athlete, I've played through pain before, but it was getting to the point where I couldn't compete in the sports I loved. I decided to check out Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It's the best decision I've made. I felt no pressure to have surgery. That was important to me. We had choices. I ultimately did choose to have a procedure. I was in and out in just hours and back in action shortly after. I recommend meeting their doctors. Visit orthowisconsin.com today.
Disability Rights Wisconsin's Medicare Part D helpline is here to help disabled or elderly Medicare beneficiaries with questions about their Part D prescription benefit. The Part D helpline may be able to help you save money on your Part D premium, deductible, and copays. Medicare annual open enrollment period runs October 15th through December 7th. For free, unbiased assistance, please call the Disability Rights Wisconsin Medicare Part D helpline any time of the year at 1-800-926-4862, 1-800-926-4862.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. The place to get caught up, to speak out, to connect and be entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 1 o'clock and 55 degrees. Cloudy, scattered showers moving in tonight. Showers likely, windy with a low of 52. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Greg Matzik. Well, the number of dead is increasing and the devastation becoming more clear in the conflict between Israel and the Hamas militants. More than 2,000 Israelis and Palestinians have died in total, with at least 27 of those who have died Americans. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is holding meetings with Israeli officials today, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He says that the U.S. is supplying military aid and will do what it can to help bring the hostages home.
We encountered a nation knit together by grief, but also a nation united in resolve. The United States shares that resolve. We stand shoulder to shoulder with the people of Israel.
Meanwhile, Steve Scalise may be the Republican nominee for House Speaker, but he appeared to be losing his grip on the job. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
The list of GOP members saying they won't support Steve Scalise on the floor is now growing. House Republicans dove into a closed-door meeting to figure out what to do next. Foreign Affairs Committee Chair Michael McCall says the ongoing drama isn't reflecting well upon American democracy.
Our adversaries are watching us, and Israel is watching. They need our help.
Former Speaker Kevin McCarthy says Republicans may have to settle on another choice unless Steve Scalise can turn things around quickly.
Time is of the essence. There's not that much time left.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Well, traveling internationally could get a little easier for you if you're holding a passport. Milwaukee Mitchell International will host its first ever global entry enrollment starting next Wednesday, October 18th. Global entry in the United States Customs and Border Protection Program is for travelers to get expedited clearance on international flights and select airports in the United States, including Mitchell. The program provides 5 years of access and includes TSA pre-check. And finally, somebody in California is $1.7 billion richer, before taxes, that is, after matching all the Powerball numbers. Alex Stone covering the story in Southern California.
The winning ticket was sold at Midway Market and Liquor in Frazier Park, which is in the mountains along Interstate 5 between L.A. and Bakersfield. It is the second highest Powerball win in history and the second billion-dollar jackpot in California this year. Somebody won over $1 billion over the summer in L.A. That has still not been claimed. Assuming somebody claims this latest $1.7 billion win, the lump sum would be $756 million.
A winning ticket means the Powerball resets to $20 million. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. All the indices in the red today. The Dow currently down 284 points at 33,520.72. S&P 500 down about 39 points at 43.38. And the NASDAQ also down today 112 points this afternoon at 13,547.68. News sponsored by Annex Wealth Management's Money Talk here at Saturdays at 10, right here on WTMJ. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:04.
I'm living the life that I lived before I started having knee pain 10 years ago.
Meet Julie, a woman who makes the most of every moment in life. But over the last years, those moments were filled with agonizing pain until she discovered QC Kinetics.
Finally, the pain got so bad that people around me are like, oh, when are you getting your knee replaced? I was walking, hobbling. I listened to my last QC Kinetics commercial and I said, I'm done. I got to find out about this.
What Julie found out was QC Kinetics treats osteoarthritis with regenerative therapies, taking your body's own healing properties and concentrating them in the areas where you feel pain, helping heal and restore those damaged areas. No harmful steroids, surgery, or downtime.
It changed how I'm living. I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
Get back your life before the pain. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
It's David Nason from WTMJ's The Fix-It Show for hair construction. If your septic or mound system needs repair, residential or commercial, contact the team who specializes in them, Hair Construction. They have you covered. The friendly, knowledgeable staff at Hair Construction can guide you from a simple septic pumping all the way through an emergency repair or replacement. For all your septic needs, contact the experts at Hair Construction today, 262-968-2550, or find them online at haircorp.com. That's HERRcorp.com.
There's no better place to catch the natural wonders of fall than Lake Geneva. Stroll a lakeshore path in a kaleidoscope of color. Explore winding rustic roads. Take a scenic boat tour or glide through a forest on a zip line. At night, stargaze from a historic observatory, cozy up to a campfire, or have a cocktail on the patio. Enjoy the seasonal bounty at orchards, wineries, and farms with flavors to savor. Plan your fall getaway now at visitlakegeneva.com. Lake Geneva. It's always been the place for fall fun.
Milwaukee Bucks will be a sight to see on Sunday afternoon. Head coach Adrian Griffin and GM John Horst joined NBA on ESPN to lay out the team's plan for the debut of Giannis and Damian Lillard.
Count on Sunday. It's the next time that we want to see them out there in live competitive play. So it's an exciting time for us, but, it's this process, and we're just taking step by step.
Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs, and the Philadelphia Phillies go on for the 10-2 Game 3 win over the Atlanta Braves to take the 2-1 series lead. The Diamondbacks are also moving on. After a 3-game sweep of the LA Dodgers, they go on for the 4-2 win, and the Astros take care of the Minnesota Twins by a final of 3-2. They'll face off with the Texas Rangers in the ALCS. And Week 6 of the NFL season kicks off tonight with a matchup of the Denver Broncos visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Let's take a check of the roads with the Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic Update. Things continue to crawl through the southbound construction zone on 41 in Wauwatosa. Get your slowdowns near Hampton Avenue, then running all the way through the interchange. Things will start to loosen up a little bit once you get beyond North Avenue. Right now, Q to the Zoo, southbound on 41 is running you 21 minutes. That's a 7-minute delay. And northbound 41, not much better. It'll take you 17 to get from Zoo interchange to Highway Q. That's normally a 14-minute ride. 43 southbound Brown Deer to downtown will run you 16, normally 11. Otherwise, standard travel times across the system today.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
Help fellow commuters. See an accident? Call the WTMJ Hall Mazda Traffic Tip Line, 414-238-9329. Visit Hall Mazda to support their Drive Out Cancer event.
Might want to get that dog out for a walk early. Cloudy, scattered showers on the way. 58 your high today. Tonight, expect showers with windy conditions at a low of 52. Moderate to heavy rain tomorrow, high of 58. Scattered showers Saturday, 57. And a chance for showers exists on Sunday with a high of 55 degrees. 51 in Madison and rain. 56 in Green Bay. It's 52 in Waukesha with sprinkles coming down. 55 at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:08. I'm Greg Matzik.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, it's the Jeff Wagner Show. Now, here's WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
Good afternoon, Wisconsin. Welcome back to the show. Greg, talk about the dog. My dog, Sasha, has this great... Okay, so it's time to take her out, and it's raining. we go out through the garage. We have like a first floor laundry room that leads out to the garage, and then you open the garage door, and she'll get up to like right before where the entrance to the garage, and she'll look up at me. It'll be raining, and I know exactly what she's thinking. She's thinking, you go out and pee in this. I know that's exactly what the look is. Come on, Dad, you got to be serious. You got to be kidding me.
Aren't you walking with an umbrella, stride for stride, with Sasa, so she can do her business?
Well, okay, it depends on what business we're talking about. See, my dog is very, very regular. So, we have a time when we go out for the poop walk, and that's about like 9:30 to 10 in the morning. And so she knows this is the time to do that. Now, I'm not saying we might not take a walk, some other time, and she might give me a little courtesy poop or something. But in general, it's one a day, and she's kind of timed there. So,
Sam, can you please isolate Jeff saying courtesy poop and poop walk? We'd like to use that drops.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
that's what that is.
I have the same kind of instance. So we have a greyhound. He is 75 pounds. His name is Knight. He is jet black, and he looks like a panther. He does not want to go outside when it's raining, so I have to get the umbrella. Otherwise, he's just standing on the front stoop.
Right, because he's like,
nuts?
Yeah, no, are you kidding me?
Right.
But no. So I have been known, like, if we're going to be out for a longer period of time, other than run out, do your business, come right back in. Yes, then it's Dad with the umbrella standing there.
It helps. It helps a little bit, right?
I guess I end up drenched, but but that's okay. You take one for the team. I was saying to you off the air, we're actually going to go back on a very serious conversation in just a couple minutes. But you had the thing about global the global entry, and apparently it's a little bit easier to get now at Mitchell Field.
Well, they've got this enrollment opportunity. So if you've signed up for global entry, this can be a process with TSA pre-check and global entry. You sign up, you get called to some random place in Milwaukee, you go in, there's an appointment, and then ultimately you get cleared or, I guess, rejected. Could happen too. But they're trying to make the process easier. So next Wednesday, they're going to have some sort of enrollment activity at Mitchell. And that also means Mitchell is, I don't know if they were part of the global entry system previously. I don't think they were.
No, because what happened is somebody who has global entry, to get it initially, I had to go to customs. Now, the customs office is right by the airport. It's on the corner of Layton and Howell there.
Okay.
And you have to make an appointment, and you have to go in there, and they take your picture, and they do a very brief interview to essentially make sure. But you had to go there, and you had to go to the customs office. And the reason I say this is my strong advice is that if there's any chance at all that you're going to be traveling outside the country in a 5-year period, I recommend going the global entry route, because it's got everything the TSA pre-check has, plus it gets you into the country. You're not in a 3-hour waiting line to come in through customs in Chicago. It really is an expedited thing, and when I got it, it was $15 more. It might be $20 or $25 more. But if TSA pre-check is $85, this is $110 or whatever those numbers are. But it's definitely, if there's any chance you're going to be traveling outside the country, you want to get it.
Yeah, my question is, and I don't know that either one of us have the answer. Maybe somebody can chime in on the text line. So my wife does not have TSA pre-check. I do. Both of my kids are young, 8-year-old girl, 7-year-old girl. They're able to come with me through the TSA pre-check line, but my wife, Emily, cannot because she doesn't have it on her boarding pass. So I don't know if global entry allows for, children.
You didn't get TSA pre-check for your wife, so you blast through this and you leave your wife in that long line?
Yes, that's usually what happens. But I take the kids and I take all the stuff and the tablets and the backpacks and the stuffed animals.
That would not be going over well in the Wagner household. Hon, see you back there. I'm going to blast through.
I'm like a burro walking through with like all these bags and everything.
I'll meet you at the bar. I'll be there at the bar there. Okay. All right.
Well, coming through Milwaukee's not too challenging, but traveling with the Brewers and the Bucks and the road and the playoffs, man, you can get stuck in Phoenix, Denver, LAX, and it just slogs through those lines.
Yeah. To answer your question, I don't know. I don't know what you need to travel internationally with children. I mean, you have to have birth certificates and stuff like that.
We have a passport for the girls.
You have the passport for the girls.
Birth certificate can work up into a certain age, but passports is what we have. But TSA pre, I could bring the girls with me. Global entry, I don't know if I could bring them with me.
I don't. I was going to say I tend to doubt it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So my New Year's resolution was when I don't know the answer to a question, I just say I don't know the answer to the question.
Yeah, I usually make it up.
Yeah,
but whatever.
Well, regardless, in any event, I thought that was interesting, and if it makes it easier to do that, like I say, the you can renew your global entry thing a year before its expiration. So I've been actually kind of watching this, and so my wife's year comes up in mid-November, and so it's like one of these mental notes I have that I want to start the process because it can take a little while to get these things renewed. But in any event, for whatever it's worth, if you can get the global entry, if there's any chance at all that you might be traveling outside the country, spend a few extra bucks and do it. It makes your life a lot easier.
Yeah, I'm going to sign up for that. We've got a trip planned, and I had no international incidents when I was in Ireland or London last year, so I think I should be good.
Yeah, there you go. Well, yeah. that would be good news. Okay. All right, let's go back to this serious conversation about what is going on in the Middle East. We were talking at the end of the last hour about the question of should the U.S. freeze the $6 billion that's supposed to go to Iran, and I think that's an obvious answer. Let me toss out a much more difficult question, at least a much more difficult question in my mind. All right, so right now you've got Israeli forces that are massed. The Gaza Strip is to the south of Israel. As I was describing, it's densely populated. There's like 2 million people that live in this, but it's 7.5 miles wide at its largest, and it's 25 miles long. So you're talking about a very, very small, heavily concentrated area. And Israel is massed at the border, and there's a question about are they going to invade, you do a ground invasion. We had one of our callers who thought that, yes, they should do that and go door to door. That will lead to massive, massive fighting. And it's going to lead to massive casualties because you're going to be having gun battles block by block, and that's going to involve civilians. And what Hamas does, as the terrorist organization it is they locate their command centers inside civilian buildings. So, okay, yes, it's a school, but it's also a Hamas training area. So, okay, so inevitably you're going to have the civilians that get wrapped up in it. But Israel is preparing to mass. You've got the United States, and there are American hostages, presumably, who are being held. Right now, there's like 14 Americans that are unaccounted for, and the U.S. wants to kind of retrieve its hostages. But you've got that going on in the South. The other problem that is developing is that you have Hezbollah, and Hezbollah is another terrorist group that really, they're in Lebanon. And they're supported by Iran, and Lebanon is like to the north of Israel. And they are starting to mass on the border. So now the question becomes, all right, if while Israel is fighting Hamas, if you have Hezbollah, which is on another one of Israel's borders, the one with Lebanon, if they decide or Iran gives Hezbollah the green light, Hezbollah is a more significant military presence than Hamas is, but we saw the devastation. We saw what Hamas does. So it did. If Hezbollah starts to attack Israel, then the question becomes, what does the U.S. do? The U.S. has aircraft carriers that are now in the Gulf. Does the U.S. get involved in trying to help Israel repel an attack? Now, right now, everybody's working to try to, assure diplomacy. That's when you hear the diplomats saying, we're telling people who might be hostile in this region, and they're sending a message to Iran. That's who they're really talking to. Don't take advantage of what's going on with Hamas, and don't use that as an excuse to escalate this. But if this gets violent on this other front, what is the role? What should the role of the U.S. be? 855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. Now, hopefully, this is the doomsday scenario that never comes to play. I mean, hopefully, cooler heads prevail and Hezbollah stands down and you don't have attacks coming from on another front into Israel. And that would be a wonderful thing to have happen. If it doesn't, though, now you've got a U.S. presence in the Gulf. What should the U.S.'s response be? What should Joe Biden's response be? 855-616-1620. We discuss in a moment.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
What time is it?
Do you have the time?
What time is it?
What time is it?
It's Lillard. He got the
shut off.
Damian Lillard is officially a Milwaukee Buck, and we can get used to this.
Lillard, long-range three, and it's good! At the buzzer! Damian Lillard! Are you kidding me?
Listen to it all right here. We are the home of the Milwaukee Bucks, WTMJ.
'Tis the season for Toyland at Fleet Farm. The elves are stocking shelves with the hottest toys, like Barbie, Lego, Hot Wheels, and more at unbeatable deals. Find a lower toy price and we'll beat it by 5%. Doors open at 7 a.m. Saturday, October 14th. Plus, the first 125 customers get a free toy tractor. Get unbeatable deals on the toys you want before they're gone. Fleet Farm, the store with everything you need for a very Merry Christmas. See store for details.
Get ready, Wisconsin. It's Medicare annual enrollment period. So why not make enrolling easier with United Healthcare? Whether you choose our online tools or over-the-phone support, United Healthcare will help you compare options so you can choose a plan with confidence. This is Medicare made for Wisconsin. Trusted everywhere. Explore our wide range of plans by calling United Healthcare today at 1-855-MEET-UHC. That's 1-855-MEET-UHC. Annual enrollment begins October 15th and ends December 7th, so call today.
Get to and from every home game in Green Bay this football season safely. Milwaukee Brought House, Jack's American Pub, and Wanakee Golf Course all offer transportation on game days. They've got bus services with private restrooms and all-you-can-drink packages. Book your round-trip ride from any of these locations and get complimentary access to an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate at the bar on Holmgren Way. Make your reservations now. There's still room for the October 29th and November 5th games. Visit MilwaukeeBroughthouse.com to book your trip today.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and you gotta love finding change in the junk drawer, or even better, a 20 in your laundry or pants pocket, right? But the best source of extra cash may be in the walls of your home. All right, wait. Now, put down the sledgehammer and tap into the value of your house by setting up a home equity line of credit and experience a state of tranquility knowing funds are there when you need them. Get started at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Eight 616-1620. Okay, it's the next question. And that is, if this escalates beyond the Gaza Strip, which is this narrow strip of land to the south of Israel, what happens if Hezbollah, which is the militant/terrorist group, whatever you want to call it, that operates out of Lebanon with the blessing of Iran, if they decide to get involved and launch a second front attack, what should the United States response be? Now, obviously, at this point in time, they're trying to use diplomacy. They're trying to say, okay, look, stand down here. But if they don't, I mean, does the U.S. sit by? Does the U.S. get actively involved in sending missiles? What do they do? Marnie in Milwaukee. Marnie, you're on WTMJ. Hello.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I've actually been on hold for a little bit, and I want to address something that you said a little bit previously and that a previous caller mentioned. They were talking about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and how Israel kind of caused it. There's a couple of things I wanted to mention. Number one, I was actually in Israel in 2005 when they pulled out of Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
And what they said was this will cause everlasting peace because they can have their own government and their own society. And Israel was like, I mean, fine. And they actually had their soldiers pulling out their citizens from their homes. I was there. I remember. This is the everlasting peace we've got. So if they want to blame a humanitarian crisis on someone, maybe think about that.
Let me just stop you there. Right. It was because it's right. That was the idea. And then you had Hamas that moved in and became the governing force. And
the government.
Right. But Hamas really isn't about governing. Hamas is about figuring out how to destroy Israel. Yeah. Yep. I agree with you completely. Yep.
So that was problem number one. Problem number two was one of the callers mentioned a ground incursion into Gaza, and he said, it should be, military targets that take place. And what I wanted to explain to him was, I mean, for anybody who is older than 30, who has a really good memory of 9/11, if you can picture back to your feeling when 9/11 happened and how the whole country just stood still, and I would imagine if we went back a generation, they would say the same thing about December 7th. Mm-hmm. I want to give you, I'm a numbers person, and so I went back and ran the numbers from 9/11. We lost a little under 3,000 people
Correct.
from our population of 285 million. In that one day in Israel, on Saturday, they lost 900 people from their population of 9 million. To give you an idea of what that is 10 9/11s happening the same day. 10. So if you can picture the Twin Towers and the Pentagon and the White House and the Golden Gate Bridge and place after place after place all falling the same day, it would equal 34,000 American deaths in one day. There's not a chance that we'd be like, yeah, I mean, we really should be a lot more careful about what we do. We went in and pounded Afghanistan, but we're going to turn around and look at Israel and be, show some restraint.
Yeah.
Show some restraint.
Yeah. Well, what is the?
I mean,
okay. And by the way, I understand, and I agree with you in that regard. And to me, the goal has to be the elimination of Hamas as an entity, because they've demonstrated what their ultimate intentions are. But what should the U.S.'s role be, and especially with Hezbollah, massing on the Lebanon border? I mean, what if they were to try to coordinate an attack? What does the U.S. do?
So here's an interesting thing. The first thing that Israel did today, from what I could understand, is they went and bombed out Syria's airports, because that is how Iran gets their supplies into Syria and Lebanon, and supplies Hezbollah, which is in Lebanon.
Right.
Now, Hezbollah is not going to attack unless they see that they can have some success. That is what they are waiting for. They start to see some success, and they are going to move in from the north while the Israelis are busy on the south. Country's not very big. If you picture about the size of New Jersey, it doesn't take much to get from the north to the south, a couple hours. So I think that's part of the reason that Israel is hitting so hard so fast. So they are not tied up in the south. They have the ability. And as far as America's role in that, we are pledged allies of Israel, and we are pledged not to ally with terrorist organizations. So to me, what that means is we start sending in weapons, we start sending in support, we start sending in anybody that we can help. Now, I understand we don't want to put an invasion force on the ground. We didn't put an invasion force in Ukraine, but we certainly sent in help.
Right.
And I would say that our responsibility is no different here. If anything, it's more important here.
Marnie, hopefully it will not come to this. I mean, hopefully it will not come to this.
You know what? I have family there. I have friends there. I have family here. I have friends here. I am an American. I'm born here, raised here. I don't want to see any of this happen. There was no part of this is good. The Gazans are suffering. The Palestinian civilians that are there are suffering. Nobody is wrong when they call it a humanitarian crisis. But on the other hand, there isn't much you can do when Hamas puts their militants in schools, in mosques, in densely populated areas. Then the only thing you can do is bomb densely populated areas. There are no other options.
Yeah, and I think for people, one of the things that's really struck me, not just the surprise nature of the attack, but as I was saying at the very start of the show, in most situations, in most warfare, there are certain rules. I mean, it's like you don't target civilians. There's civilians are always, there's collateral damage. I understand that. But you don't target civilians, and you don't take hostages, and you don't behead hostages in an effort to try to terrorize people and use the internet to do that. This is a different kind of attack.
It's interesting. My son is 12, and he has read quite a number of nonfiction, historical, American war type books. And when I was trying to explain to him the situation without getting into too much detail, he looked at me and goes, I mean, they're going to follow the Geneva Convention, right? Yeah. And I just paused and went, that's such an innocent, thoughtful statement. And no, they're not. I mean, no, they certainly are not already not following any part of the Geneva Convention in any way. And what I explained to him was, this is a terrorist organization. They're not a government, and so they're not a country, and they don't follow the rules because they don't believe that they have to. But it was such an innocent thought of, because that's how war works. We have war rules.
Got it. Marnie, thanks.
If you don't follow the war rules, nobody else can do it.
Yeah, Marnie, thanks for the perspective. I appreciate it. And it's just, I mean, I hope it doesn't come to this. And I will say, one of the things that but you can look at the geopolitical issue, and there is a separate issue out there, which is, and she's right. I mean, what happened is Israel pulled out of the Gaza Strip in 2005, and the idea was, let's give the Palestinians the right to self-government. And you can argue whether over the course of the last 2 decades, whether the Israeli government has treated Palestine, the Palestinian claims appropriately or not, because they want land back. The ultimate thing, the ultimate goal of a lot of the militants is to destroy Israel. But the other goal is to try to reclaim, quote unquote, reclaim land that was taken in 1967 in the 7-Day War. And you can argue about, politically has Israel done all the right things and have they contributed to this quote-unquote humanitarian crisis? You can have that argument, but you cannot in any way, shape, or form defend the barbarism and the surprise attack that occurred. I hope cooler heads are able to prevail in this, because the last thing you need is an escalation. And from the perspective of the United States, I mean, you've got what's going on in the Ukraine. You've got now this blow up in the Middle East. And, of course, you've got, China, which is speaking in all sorts of bellicose fashions about Taiwan. It's tense international times. And meanwhile, as we'll talk about in a minute, the Republican Clown Car Act in the House of Representatives continues. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner.
Stick around. Jeff Wagner is right around the corner. Your weekly Bucks breakdown is back.
They want to win equally as bad as I do.
Bucks Weekly on WTMJ.
Now he joins a team where you have, as he has put it, the best player in the league.
And a new year brings new faces.
You'll see that I've gotten better year after year after year after year.
Get the latest news, analysis, and insight on your Milwaukee Bucks all season long. Bucks Weekly with Justin Garcia every Monday night at 8 on WTMJ. And catch the podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Russ bought his first home in Wisconsin with a mortgage from AccuNet when today's college freshmen were still in diapers. A few Friday mornings ago, Russ emailed saying he and his wife were ready to buy their forever home. And by 4 o'clock, we were all on a conference call with their real estate agent talking about what it would take to write a winning offer in today's inventory-starved market. And then it happened. They met their dream home face-to-face Saturday afternoon and wrote an offer $15,000 over asking, accompanied by an AccuNet property-specific pre-approval letter that guaranteed they could make good on that offer without selling their existing home first and without requiring an appraisal. That's right, no appraisal required, which both the listing agent and seller loved. I can't promise your very first offer will be accepted like Russ and Julie's, but I will promise AccuNet can help you and your agent craft the most attractive offer possible. Hey, don't settle for a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval. Get started with your rock-solid, guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at accunet.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Have you been thinking of updating your bath or shower? Well, Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned business in Wisconsin for 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
For the last 16 years, we've been hosting private tours throughout the city's most delicious eateries, iconic breweries, and cultural neighborhoods. I'm Teresa from Milwaukee Food and City Tours. Let us plan your next team outing on our Brady Street lunch tour. Kick off your besties bachelorette weekend with a Bloody Mary brunch or on our super fun tacos and tequila tour. And celebrate your next birthday on our famous pizza bus tour. Schedule your next outing with a private bus or walking tour at MilwaukeeFoodTours.com.
You're listening to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
We live in interesting times, that is for sure. All right, so while we have these huge fires, if you'll let me use the analogy, that are breaking out in the Middle East and in Ukraine, and again, you've got the issues with China and all these things, we have the House Republicans in Congress. And you know, it is a complete and total clown car act. I mean, I fully expect, you ever go to the Shrine Circus and you see those little cars and all of a sudden you have all these people jump out of this? You know, it's the clown car act. And it is playing out again in the House of Representatives. Now, the House of Representatives needs a speaker. That's it. The majority party elects the speaker. Legislation cannot move forward. Nothing can get done until you have a Speaker of the House. The Republicans control the House of Representatives by a narrow margin, 221 to 214, I think are the numbers. And let's just review the bidding briefly. If you're watching me on our YouTube channel or on WTMJ.com, again, I know people are really watching because, well, today I'm wearing a red sweatshirt, red pullover, because my head is going to explode one of these days, because it's just absolute craziness that is out there, and people are going to want to watch the head explode. What happened is, again, a week or two ago, you had a handful of Republican dissidents. There were 8 who decided they were upset that the then Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, cut a deal which allowed for temporary funding to keep the government open. All right, okay, because Kevin McCarthy and the majority of Democrats and the majority of Republicans understood that if you close down government, you'd have 4 million federal employees that would have been laid off, and you would have had, the credit rating of the United States imperiled, and you wouldn't have accomplished anything at all. And as I have lectured, and I admit it is a lecture, but some of these people in Congress need to hear it. We have divided government. You have a Democrat president. You have Democrats that control the Senate. You have Republicans that control the House of Representatives. You need to, if you're going to get anything done, you need to, what's the word I'm thinking of? Oh, yeah, it's compromise. And I understand there's some people who think compromise is a bad word, but politics is the art of the possible. And if you want to not have to compromise, well, what you need to do is you need to have, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, get one-party control of the different branches of government. Then, then you can steamroller your way in. That's how we got the Affordable Care Act, for example. That's what you can do. But as long as you got divided government, it's the politics of the possible. But you have a couple of these. In this case, it's hardcore Republicans who come from really, really safe districts, and some of whom, not all of whom, but some of whom, they could care less about Congress. What they want to do is they have their future aspirations. They want to be governors. They want to be senators or whatever. And by taking hardline positions and getting themselves on TV a lot on some of the conservative networks and things like that, they buttress their own fundraising. Here, I'm going to get somebody, I'm in Florida, but somebody from Oklahoma is going to send me a check because they know that I said I'm willing to shut down the government. Oh, okay, fine. So anyhow, because McCarthy was willing to cut a deal, these gang of 8 essentially said, we want him out. They voted with Democrats to toss him out, so it created this vacancy. So right now there's not a Speaker of the House of Representatives. Israel is under attack. The war in Ukraine rages on with winter coming and all this other stuff. And we have one house of government, one branch of the legislature, which is paralyzed. It cannot act. So yesterday, the Republicans get together in caucus, and there's 2 candidates that are running, right? One is Steve Scalise, House Majority Leader, and one is Jim Jordan, House Judiciary Committee Leader. All right, so what happens is Republicans go in caucus and they vote. And Scalise comes away with a majority of the vote. He had like 113. Jordan had like 90. Now, in a sane world, Republicans would say, okay, this is how we have decided this. We're now going to go to the House floor and we're going to vote, and Scalise will be the leader, and then we can get on with the operation of government. And if you were one of the 90-plus Republicans who voted for Jordan, you say, well, I would have preferred Jordan to Scalise, but okay, this is it. This is the majority rule. Well, what you have happening now is apparently there's a number of those Republicans in the 90 that didn't vote for Scalise who are saying, well, we're not going to support. We didn't get our way. Jordan didn't win, so we're not going to support this Scalise guy. Screw the majority of our party who's voted for him. We're not going to support this. And so that's why you don't have an election on the floor. And that's why the House of Representatives is paralyzed. And the problem is there's no end in sight to this because you have a handful of these, figuratively speaking, bomb throwers who are out there who won't agree to anything unless they completely get their way. Well, what does that say to, the 200 other plus members of the Republican caucus who resent being held hostage by a relative handful of people? Meanwhile, government ends up, the House of Representatives can't do anything at a time where Israel is under attack and Ukraine and all these different things. The Republicans who run the House of Representatives look like a clown car act. No doubt about this. And it's all because you have a handful of these people who put their own personal interests ahead of the country. And it is incredibly frustrating for conservatives like me to see this, because this isn't how you win elections. I mean, first of all, the country loses. Secondly, Republicans lose because moderates, independents look like this and say, look, this is, this is no way to run a country. Say what you want to say about Nancy Pelosi, and I'm not a fan of Nancy Pelosi, but she was able to keep, with narrow majorities, she was able to keep people in line. And the Democrats were able to say, maybe they disagree with stuff behind closed doors, but they were willing to unite and not hurt the country. A number of these Republicans cannot say that. And we're at a time of national crisis. At a time when you have national crisis going on, all these international situations happening, the fact that Republicans can't unite behind, in this case, and I could care less whether it's Steve Scalise or whoever, but behind who the majority of the party has selected, got to be incredibly aggravating. Politics is just, it's way too bizarre for me right now, but this is an embarrassment. It is a clown car act. And the handful of Republican dissidents who would rather shut down the business of the country than go along with a conservative leader who isn't their choice is disgraceful. Nothing short of that. And yeah, I'd like to hope that every one of them loses re-election in their district and some more common sense conservative replaces them. But I'm not sure that that's the occasion. But that's my rant for the day. What's going on is not good for the country, period. And they really, really, really need to get their act together. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
Do you check your savings account and wonder if you're even saving at all? At Town Bank, we view banking differently and actually want to see your savings grow. With our amazing new CD rates, you can now earn even more, so you can sit back and relax. Stop banking the same way, expecting different results, and start earning more. Go to townbank.us/locknewrates or visit a Town Bank branch nearest you today. Bank differently with Town Bank. Member FDIC.
This is Monica from Kessler's Diamonds. Did you know that Sweetest Day is fast approaching?
And it's celebrated on Saturday, October 21st.
I'm telling you this because I think some of you may have forgotten what Sweetest Day is all about and might need a little reminder.
The first Sweetest Day was celebrated in October during the early 1920s by a group of confectioners who distributed over 20,000 boxes of chocolates to orphans, the elderly, and the poor.
Sweetest Day is celebrated primarily right here in Wisconsin and Michigan.
Sweetest Day is a day for showing affection with gifts, candy, or acts of kindness to those you care about and those who could use a little support.
I'm sure there's someone in everyone's life that could use little affection, kindness, or support.
Stop into Kessler's and pick up some chocolates as our gift of kindness to you.
And while you're here, shop for a gift for someone special in your life and spread the kindness.
Kessler's has plenty of gifts starting at just $75 to help you celebrate Sweetest Day.
Happy Sweetest Day from everyone at Kessler's.
Shop online or find the Kessler's nearest you at Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
This is a year of change for Wisconsin football. Whether it's a new quarterback or coach, our teams will be exciting to watch this season. As Wisconsin's 3PL, Evans Transportation knows a thing or two about changing things up when it comes to manufacturers' accounting, shipping, and tracking needs. Call Evans if your supply chain team isn't running on all cylinders this season. Good luck to our Wisconsin football teams from Wisconsin's 3PL in Delafield. Find them at evanstrans.com. That's evanstrans.com.
Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
I'm not sure what to make of this. Whenever I say, tune in to watch my head explode, the numbers of people watching, just people, maybe that's really going to happen one day. So if you do watch us, you can check us out. We live stream. It's on, you can go to YouTube and just click in WTMJ Radio and you'll get our YouTube channel, or just go to WTMJ.com and you can listen live. We certainly appreciate that. And you can also go to the Watch Live button as well. All right. I need to lighten it up because, if you can tell, I've got frustrations. So far today we've talked about, the repeat criminal element that keeps getting turned loose to wreak havoc on the streets of Milwaukee in particular, but this country in general. And you've got the complete and total cluster bumble, going on in Washington, D.C., where, we have these huge international crises, and the Clown Car Act that is the Republican House of Representatives can't get together and just say, okay, this is who the Speaker of the House is, and we're going to unite, all because you've got some dissidents who would rather take their ball and go home, not recognizing that, once again, sometimes you have to compromise. You can't get everything you want. That's a song, right? Can't get what you want. And then, of course, you've got this overriding thing of the incredible situation that's going on, and I say incredible in not a good way, in Israel. So we've been talking about all that. So more, I guess, bad news, arguably, closer to home. You've got the UAW, which apparently is not significantly closer to settling their strike against the big three automakers. They just declared, the union yesterday expanded its strike to a plant that makes up about 1/6 of Ford's annual sales, a big giant truck and SUV factory in Louisville. So last night, about 8,700 actually, workers walked off the job. It's a plant that makes up about 1/6 of the company's global sales. And what the UAW is trying to do here, again, these are these kind of targeted strikes. Let's try to cause as much pain as we possibly can to the automakers. Without recognizing that, well, okay, you can do that, but you really are biting the hand that feeds you. And at some point in time, what you were doing is you were giving aid and comfort to the opposition because, okay, hit Ford, hit General Motors, hit Stellantis, which is Chrysler Fiat. And what you're really doing is saying, okay, well, maybe for people who need cars or new cars or who need, parts or whatever, maybe the answer is, all right, Toyota, Honda, Nissan, fill in the blank, all these other companies. And at some point in time, the UAW has to realize that. Now, they think that they're really smart and they're happy with this, and they understand that they've got some people on their side by the class warfare card about, well, the CEO makes $21 million and, they're only offering us a 25% pay raise, but we want, 4-day work weeks and 5-day pays and things like that. The longer the strike goes on, the issue becomes how much money, how long will, even if they get a third of what they're asking for, how long will it be before they get back to break even? And so you have this going on. Then you have, and this is what I want to discuss quickly, the other strike. Hollywood has essentially been shut down since May. What started was the writers went out on strike. That has now been settled. But a couple weeks after the writers went out on strike, the Screen Actor Guild, the union that represents tens of thousands of actors, they've been out on strike. And a lot of people thought maybe once the writers settled, the screen actors would settle right away. Not only have they not settled, but apparently talks have broken off. Here's the story. Negotiations between the major entertainment studios and the union representing tens of thousands of actors have collapsed, with both sides saying on Thursday that they remained far apart on the most significant issues. And what's happened is, what they're saying, I'm looking at the Wall Street Journal now, is that if an agreement isn't reached within the next week or so, it will likely end any chance the studios have of salvaging a 2023-2024 television season. It will wreak havoc on movie and TV production and release schedules for the foreseeable future. So if they don't reach a settlement, we're going to be watching lots of reality TV, and movies and new, fiction shows and stuff just aren't going to be on the horizon. Now, here's the interesting aspect of this. And our number is 855-616-1620. Right now, there is more stuff available on the different streaming services than I can possibly watch. Just last night, I said, I haven't looked at Netflix for a while. So I went on Netflix, and there were a couple dozen things, whether it's old TV shows, new streaming shows, or movies. I could spend the next 3 months just working through the stuff that is already on Netflix. And that's not to say, we're not talking about Hulu or Disney Plus or Paramount or any of these things. I have enough entertainment on Netflix alone to keep me entertained for the next several months. 855-616-1620. If they don't settle this strike, are you going to miss anything? We discuss in just a moment.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Hi, John McGivern here. Did you know Network Health has Medicare Advantage plans that give you $25 a month back towards your Medicare Part B premium? That's $300 a year back in your pocket. Isn't that great? Call 833-7-NETWORK to learn more today. Network Health Medicare Advantage plans include PPO plans with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Network Health Medicare Advantage plans depends on contract renewal. Certain restrictions apply to the Part B giveback. Visit networkhealth.com/Medicare/extra benefits for details.
Let's talk about Gruber Law for a moment. Gruber Law Office helps people and families who are seriously injured in accidents. They stand up for victims. They take the burden off your shoulders. They'll focus on the legal aspect of things while your clients focus on healing. It's just one call. They handle the rest. Providing the best care, service, and representation is their priority. Gruber Law is one of the largest personal injury firms in the Midwest. They're family-owned and operated, but they have a large, powerful team with resources to take on insurance companies. They get results that speak for themselves, and that's evidenced by the fact that they have been serving people in the state of Wisconsin for over 35 years. Giving back to the community is extremely important. And here's how it works at Gruber Law. There's no fee to call. There's no cost to consult. There's no cost to retain their firm. There is never a fee until they win your case. Making a difference, helping others in the community, like I say, for over 35 years. Visit them at gruber-law.com to learn more about their firm, in addition to what they do in the community as well. If it's easier, give them a call, 414-276-6666.
What's the way to build your wealth?
If you want to be sure that you're getting financial planning advice you can trust, work with a fiduciary. A fiduciary should be someone who acts as a steward for you. It means they treat your assets as if they were their own, that they protect them as if they were their own, and that they try to grow them as if they were their own. Now you can take this for what it's worth, but I'm doing all I can to run a firm you can trust. That's why we're a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm that doesn't work for anyone but our clients and focuses only on their best interest. By being a steward, being a fiduciary, to help our clients reach their financial goals. I'm Jim Cantrell, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, but what's the way to build your wealth?
It's fast, easy, and free to make your home safer. Drop off nasty household chemicals this Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Visit the City of Milwaukee DPW yard off of 35th and Capitol. Go to MMSD.com for all the details. Milwaukee County residents only, no businesses.
It's WTMJ's Steve Scafidi for Panoramic CBD. Whether you're looking to reduce anxiety, pain, depression, or just need to relax, Panoramic CBD has the best products for everyone's needs. They farm, process, test, and package their own CBD products, hence the slogan from soil to oil. By overseeing every stage of the process, Panoramic CBD eliminates the middleman, ensuring unmatched quality throughout. To offer you the best CBD products at the best prices for you and your pets. Shop local. Shop Wisconsin. From soil to oil, PanoramicCBD.com.
Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life. And by everything, we mean top products by your favorite brands. From Blackstone to Blue Buffalo, Carhartt to Cooper, Milwaukee to Muddy, Scott's to Science Diet, DeWalt, Levi's, Purina, Husqvarna, Goodyear, Rapala, Vortex, and a whole lot more. In-store or online, check out all the brands Fleet Farm carries to help make your everyday life better.
This is Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. See, here is the interesting thing. My guess is that most people if you said, hey, there's a writer's strike. Well, they just settled the writer's strike. But, they're not producing new movies right now. They're not producing new TV shows, at least non-reality TV shows, because the Screen Actors Guild, the actors are on strike. If you said that, most people would say, really? I mean, what's going on? And I say that because, okay, you have, for example, we talked about this yesterday. You got the new season of Survivor that launched. Well, okay, you don't need, paid actors that's a reality show. The Amazing Race, same sort of thing. The show I watch on Discovery, Gold Rush, that launched. You don't need actors to do this type of stuff. And so what's going on is, I don't think people are noticing. True story. I mean, last night, I had not been streaming for a few days, and I was just, because I saw this story, I was just kind of curious. So I went on Netflix, and I've got, if my wife is listening, I'm sorry. I've got all these different streaming services that are there. I mean, I got Hulu, I've got Peacock, I've got Paramount Plus, I've got the Disney Channel, we've got Amazon Prime. We have all these different things because there's different stuff on there that I want to watch. But just for kicks, I went to Netflix, and I was just scrolling through all the stuff that's on Netflix. And there, if I only had Netflix, there is enough to keep me occupied for the next 6 months, probably, of, whether it's like new stuff that they have up there, or movies that they are streaming that I haven't seen, or, hey, I watched this series, 10 years ago. I could easily go back and I could watch this whole series again. My only point is, there's so much entertainment that's out there that I don't think most people would say, gee, I was really, or you might say, gee, I was looking forward to the next edition of the X show. I'd love, but at the same time, okay, there's all sorts of other things that I can watch. In some respects, we're in the golden age of television because you have all these different choices and you have all these options out there. It's not like back when I was a kid where you had ABC, NBC, CBS, the three main networks, and you waited, I can't wait till the new shows come out in September and things like that. Now there's just a myriad of choices. There's more stuff out there. And so, I mean, look, and I take no position on who's right or who's wrong in this in this writer's strike, or in the Screen Actors Guild, the actor strike, other than to say, in some respects, maybe it's a pox on all their houses, because there's so much stuff out there. I don't think most of us know about it. Don't think it's affecting most of us, and I don't think most of us care. Because, like I say, I'm happy. Just give me Netflix for the next 6 months, and I there's more than enough entertainment that's already there. And then I'll switch over to Peacock. Then I'll go over to Paramount Plus. Then I'll go to Amazon Prime. Still haven't seen any of the Mrs. Maisel show. I got 6 years that are backed up on that. Okay, when we come back, a lot of heavy topics, I understand, in the first 2 hours of the program. We're going to lighten it up a bit and have a little bit of fun. Stick around. This is Jeff Wagner.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
Hey, I'm Sandy Max.
And I'm Steve Scafidi. Did you miss one of our shows?
I'll tell you what, if you couldn't vote, you'd want to.
Absolutely.
This is a right. Or just want to listen to one of our many conversations with all the movers and shakers in Wisconsin.
I drove him to Milwaukee, and I skipped school altogether. We hung out, we had dinner.
Then you should download and listen to our podcast.
We're available on Apple, Spotify, and of course, on the WTMJ mobile app.
And never forget, we're on the air live from 9 to noon on Where Else But WTMJ.
There's free pizza today at the Amazing Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford. Seriously, it's free. F-R-E-E free. Every Thursday when you buy one pizza, you get your second pizza free. No coupons, no gimmicks. It's the best Thursday dining value anywhere. Buy 2 pizzas, get 2 free. Buy 10, get 10 free. You get it. Any size, any quantity. It's buy 1 pizza, get 1 free. Coaches, bring in your football, soccer, cross-country, or volleyball team. Your players can beef up on the Mine Shaft's great pizza. Your players will also love that world-class game room. It's great for team bonding. So bring in pizza today for your loyal employees, your valued clients. They'll appreciate it, and your second pizza is always free. It's big food, it's big fun, it's big value at the Mine Shaft. Don't cook and clean today. Take your family to the Mine Shaft. Buy 1 pizza, get 1 free, with plenty to take home for tomorrow. The Mine Shaft is in beautiful downtown Hartford and right off the interstate in Oshkosh. Order now and pick up your free hot pizza shortly. I love the pepperoni. It's the Amazing Mine Shaft. Check it out at mineshaft.com.
This week's Wagner's home improvement expert is KohlerServicesWI.com.
Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scafidi for Heiser Automotive. You know I love talking about Heiser. I am now driving a 2021 Lincoln Corsair all-wheel drive. Of course, perfect for all of Wisconsin's changing weathers. We all know about that weather. It is amazing, comfortable. I always say Lincolns have the best ride. 6-year, 100,000-mile comprehensive warranty coverage. All of the great features of Lincoln, all available at one of their 5 great locations. Check it out. You can also go to Heiser.com, see all of their great pre-owned and new vehicles. Stop, online, always there for you, much more. Heiser.com. They have all the inventory you might need for any vehicle need you have. You could be in a vehicle as soon as tonight. Need your current vehicle serviced? Heiser has, as I said, 5 convenient locations. Get your vehicle ready for the upcoming summer season. Call for an appointment. Schedule online. They can fix body damage, too, one of their great service centers. Make sure you visit Heiser.com for all your vehicle needs. That's why they say, every day at Heiser, today's your day.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Greg Scalzo for Smart Spaces. How can Smart Spaces transform your business?
Really looking at the entire space holistically. The environment, the walls, ceilings, lighting, flooring, furniture, technology, along with acoustics.
To conceptualize how the end users are going to interact with the room, from the furniture all the way down to the AV, having that work seamlessly within the environment and often hiding within the furniture.
Let Smart Spaces transform your business today. Visit smartspaceswi.com.
ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta here for St. Kate the Arts Hotel. If you're looking to start the weekend right, head to Bubbles and Brunch at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Every weekend from 9 to 1 in Giggly Champagne and Wine Bar, this brunch is anything but basic. The atmosphere is set with a local DJ spinning music to set the mood, while the hotel's acclaimed culinary team offers up a menu of elevated breakfast dishes. Add to the fun with endless mimosas. Experience a brunch that is anything but basic at Giggly Champagne and Wine Bar inside St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Reservations available online. Learn more by visiting stkatearts.com.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Your locally owned hometown station gives you the news and what it means to you. Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 2:01, it's cloudy and 55 degrees. Showers likely tonight. Windy, a low of 52. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm John Mercier. The number of dead is increasing and the devastation is becoming more clear in the conflict between Israel and Hamas militants. More than 2,000 Israelis and Palestinians have died in total, with at least 27 of those Americans. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is holding meetings with Israeli officials, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and says that the U.S. is supplying military aid and will do what it can to help bring the hostages home.
We encountered a nation knit together by grief, but also a nation united in resolve. The United States shares that resolve. We stand shoulder to shoulder with the people of Israel.
Steve Scalise may be the Republican nominee for House Speaker, but he appears to be losing his grip on the job.
The list of GOP members saying they won't support Steve Scalise on the floor is now growing. House Republicans dove into a closed-door meeting to figure out what to do next. Foreign Affairs Committee Chair Michael McCall says the ongoing drama isn't reflecting well upon American democracy.
Our adversaries are watching us, and Israel is watching. They need our help.
Former Speaker Kevin McCarthy says Republicans may have to settle on another choice unless Steve Scalise can turn things around quickly.
Time is of the essence. There's not that much time left.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
It's been 25 years since Matthew Shepard was tortured and killed in a hate crime in Wyoming.
It was a major moment in the LGBTQ movement, sparking changes in hate crime legislation across the country. The Milwaukee LGBT Community Center's transgender and gender nonconforming coordinator Beck Straight tells WTMJ.
Strides have been made, many strides over past couple decades, even past couple years.
That includes more legal protections for gay people in the U.S., but Straight says there's still work to be done.
A lot of that is missing when it comes to gender identity.
Wyatt Barmar-Pooley, WTMJ News.
Traveling internationally make it easier for some passport holders. Milwaukee Mitchell International Airport will hold its first ever global entry enrollment starting next Wednesday, October 18th. Global Entry is the U.S. Customs and Border Protection program for travelers to get expedited clearance on international flights at selected airports in the United States, including at Mitchell. The program provides 5 years of access and includes TSA PreCheck. Only individuals who have already applied for global entry and are conditionally approved can take advantage of this opportunity, and appointments are required. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red. Started in the green, now in the red. The S&P 500 is down 32 points. It's sitting at 43.45. The Dow is off 204. It's at 33,601. And the NASDAQ off 106 points on the day. It's at 13,554. Annex Ignite, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client. They'll meet you where you're at. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 2:04.
Cheese doodles, Mr. Nougat Bar. Oh, here we go. 4-door hatchback.
Some things are fine to buy from a vending machine, but a car's not one of them. That national online company makes it seem convenient, but it won't be so convenient if you have a problem with the vehicle you buy. And if it's after 7 days, good luck. Adam member dealers also let you search online, plus test drive the vehicle before you buy it. And they're right here to handle any issues.
But the car's stuck. No!
Start your search at adamm.com.
Wouldn't you love a pair of high heels that feel like sneakers?
That reminds me of the Parker sofa at Penny Mustard. It looks like a sleek but terribly rigid sofa where mad men sipped martinis.
But you won't believe how incredibly comfortable it is.
Yeah, if sofas had felt like this in the 60s, those men wouldn't have been so mad.
The Parker sofa, starting at $176 a month with only 1 penny down and no interest till October of 2025 through October 15th at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
For over 6 decades, Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland has made wishes come true for everyone. Starting Saturday at 7 a.m., the tradition continues during Blaine's Toyland opening weekend. Like half off select Lego playsets, just $4.99. Select Barbie playsets, only $19.99. And rewards members get 4 Hot Wheels die-cast vehicles for just $3. Plus, rewards members get a free $5 gift card with every $50 Toyland purchase. Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland, where wishes come true for everyone. Starting Saturday at 7 a.m.
When it's time for a new lawnmower, buying local is important. Purchasing one from Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment means you're well taken care of after the sale. Their knowledgeable staff handles the warranty and parts, can answer all of your questions, and is available to do tune-ups and repairs. Check out the impressive line of lawnmowers on display at the Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment showroom in Muskego. And tune in to the Fix-It Show this Saturday morning at 7, when an expert from Olson's will answer all your power equipment questions.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
The Milwaukee Bucks will be a sight to see on Sunday afternoon. Head coach Adrian Griffin and GM John Horst joined NBA on ESPN to lay out the team's plan for the debut of Giannis and Damian Lillard.
Count on Sunday. It's the next time that we want to see them out there in live competitive play. So it's an exciting time for us, but, it's this process, and we're just taking step by step.
Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs, and the Philadelphia Phillies go on for the 10-2 Game 3 win over the Atlanta Braves to take the 2-1 series lead. The Diamondbacks are also moving on. After a 3-game sweep of the LA Dodgers, they go on for the 4-2 win, and the Astros take care of the Minnesota Twins by a final of 3-2. They'll face off with the Texas Rangers in the ALCS. And Week 6 of the NFL season kicks off tonight with a matchup of the Denver Broncos visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Time for your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Just a couple of delays. I-41, southbound, Highway Q to the Zoo. That's a 19-minute ride. That's a 5-minute delay. 43 southbound, Brown Deer to downtown. Also a 5-minute delay. That trip's going to take you 16 minutes.
Traffic is sponsored by Weisgerber's Golden Mast Inn, your place on the lake. Visit goldenmastin.com.
Looking for a perfect wedding venue? Open air terrace nestled over Okachi Lake. Weisberger's Golden Mast. Have it all at the lake. Your wedding place on the lake. Visit goldenmastin.com.
Looking at the radar, the rain is definitely marching our direction. Watertown getting wet, Madison getting wet. Tonight, showers likely for all of us, and windy, a low of 52 degrees. Tomorrow, heavy rain, windy, a high of 58. Saturday, scattered showers, windy, a high of 57. Sunday, showers lakeside, inland more dry, breezy, a high of 55. And on Monday, cloudy and breezy, a high of 55 degrees. Right now, in Madison, it is rainy and 50 degrees. In Green Bay, cloudy and 56. In Waukesha, cloudy and 52 degrees. Here in Milwaukee, lots of cloud cover and 55 degrees. I'm John Mercier, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 2:08.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, it's the Jeff Wagner Show. Now, here's WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
Good afternoon, Wisconsin. Welcome back to the show. So, John, with that weather forecast, I was talking about this with Greg Matzik yesterday. I have not been to a Wisconsin Badgers football game in a long time.
Yeah.
In a long time. And so I have, there goes the microphone. I have some friends. You're here afterward.
Yeah, don't break that. I got to use that thing a little bit.
I just moved it just a little bit, and it did not like that. Okay. See, that's why people need to watch this on like the YouTube thing, because you just never know. You touch the thing and it falls apart. And so I haven't been in a long, long time. So I have some very, very dear friends who invited Fran and I and another couple to the game. And so, and it was just, I was very excited. I am very excited to go. Iowa, Wisconsin, it
should be a good game.
Should be a great game and stuff. But I was looking at the forecast, so we're talking about rain and 30-mile-an-hour winds.
It's going to be brutal.
Right. Well, okay. So I was like, how is this going to be? Well, I got a message today that 4 words that really brightened my day. We're in a box.
Oh man, yes.
So
Thank
it was like,
goodness.
So it was like, all right,
yes.
Because
Life
I'm
is
thinking
good.
life is exactly good. So I mean, it's the best of all. It's the best of all worlds there. And I'm thinking, I would have enjoyed it regardless, but I'm going to enjoy it much more not being soaking
good
wet
for you.
and stuff.
Yeah,
so
that would not be fun in the wind and rain.
That was it. Have you been to a Badger game?
Not in a very more
neither.
than 10 years.
Yeah, mine's been longer than that.
Yeah,
so
I'd like to go, but I haven't for a long time.
Yeah,
but not Saturday.
You're right. Not well, unless
you're in the box.
Unless you're in a box, absolutely. So
we're in a box.
We're in a box. 4 words that I really,
That's good.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I'll be out there cheering. Okay, I know I promised I was going to lighten it up a little. Let me just give you a couple updates on things, and then we'll move into what I think are a little bit lighter topics. Republicans out there, what more do you need? There's a new Fox News poll that's out, and I understand that people. You take polls with a grain of salt. And by the way, a lot can happen between now and next November. So I appreciate that. The election's over a year away. And I know that many of you disagree with me, but I continue to believe that Joe Biden and Donald Trump are not going to be the nominees of the Democratic and Republican Party, respectively. And I understand that if you look at the polls, well, it shows that Trump overwhelmingly leading and things like that. But and so far, no challengers emerging to Biden. I think next October, we're going to be looking at dramatically different choices. And maybe time will prove me wrong, but we'll see. So anyhow, this new poll comes out, and it should be food for thought for Republican primary voters. Head-to-head matchup. Choice for president if voting today, Joe Biden or Donald Trump. All right? Joe Biden or Donald Trump. Biden wins. Close, but Biden wins. 49-48. Within the margin of error. Close, but Biden wins. Choice for president if voting today was Ron DeSantis against Joe Biden. DeSantis 49, Biden 47. Within the margin of error, but DeSantis wins. Choice for president if voting today was Nikki Haley or Joe Biden. Haley 49, Biden 45. Outside the margin of error, Biden loses. So, and this is pretty consistent that it's playing out across the country in these different polls. If you do the Trump to Biden head-to-head matchup, it's sometimes Trump is a little ahead, sometimes Biden is ahead. But the problem is, if you look at the states, keep in mind it's not a national popular vote thing. You have to figure out, okay, in the states that you need to get the required number of electoral votes, 200, whatever that might be, 230 or whatever it might be, what's going to happen? And is Donald Trump more likely to win Wisconsin in 2024 than he was when he lost it in 2020? I don't see that. Nikki Haley, different story. Is Trump more likely to win Arizona again after losing it? Well, I don't see what's happening there. Nikki Haley, different story. I'm just saying that for Republican voters who want to win the White House, and we talked about this divided government over the years, maybe what you need to do is start looking at conservative alternatives to Donald Trump who can win the race. And pretty much every poll out there suggests that, they're there because almost everybody almost everybody beats Biden except Donald Trump. Okay, story number 2 from the world of politics. Robert Menendez, the crooked New Jersey Democrat who was indicted a couple of weeks ago on charges of essentially taking bribes. And now the more you get into this, the more bizarre it becomes. His girlfriend, now his wife, apparently it's coming out, was involved in an accident where she hit and killed somebody, and it appears that there was some influence used to kind of squash all that. But anyhow, there is a new development. Menendez says, well, yes, I had all these gold bars, and yes, there was $500,000 in cash stashed in my apartment and hidden in these different things, but it really wasn't bribes that I took. It was just money that I'd collected over the years from my bank account. Well, good luck with that. Well, it's gotten even worse. And by the way, take some free legal advice from a recovering lawyer here who spent a lot of years as a federal prosecutor. You never want to see your name at the top of this thing, United States District Court for fill in the blank, United States of America versus your name. You just never want to see your name at the top of indictment. Here's the latest update today. Senator Robert Menendez, a New Jersey Democrat, charged last month with taking bribes in exchange for lucrative political favors, faced a stunning new accusation today. He has now been charged with conspiring to act as a foreign agent of Egypt, even as he served as the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Manhattan federal prosecutors on Thursday released the fresh charge against Mr. Menendez and his wife, Nadine, as well as a third defendant, accusing them of failing to register under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. The prosecutors have asked the judge to seize the Menendez's residence in Inglewood Cliffs, New Jersey, as well as a Mercedes-Benz convertible that the government says was given to them as a bribe. As a public official, Mr. Menendez, 69, was prohibited from serving as a foreign agent. It just gets worse and worse and worse, and it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear that, again, innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But you look at these allegations, and it's pretty clear that this guy's been a sleazebag for a long time. And the fact that he was able to get away with it enabled him over and over again. And now he finds himself not just being accused of bribery, but now conspiring to act as a foreign agent of another country while he was serving as the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. And still, Menendez refuses to step down. The question becomes, how many of his fellow Democrats are going to tolerate that? And again, what an embarrassment. Speaking of embarrassment, just to show you that we are bipartisan, at least in this segment, George Santos, the embattled congressman from New York, who, like Menendez, is a crook. Apparently, a group of 6 New York freshmen are going to be introducing an expulsion resolution to try to capitalize on a list of new charges that have been leveled against Mr. Santos. Santos's campaign treasurer pled guilty last week, admitting in court that she conspired with Santos to report false donations and a fictional $500,000 personal loan to the campaign. Late Tuesday, authorities added 10 new felony counts against Mr. Santos, dramatically expanding the case against him. So just like it is an embarrassment that Democrats tolerate Menendez, it is an embarrassment that Republicans tolerate Santos. And once again, the government of the United States continues to look like the shrine circus with all the clowns jumping out of the little cars. Okay, when we come back, planning a trip to Disneyland, planning a trip to Disney World, get your checkbook ready. Stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
Hey, Wisconsin, winter is right around the corner. Get your house ready before the cold hits. WTMJ's Jeff Wagner here for Wagner's Home Improvement Showcase, brought to you by senior real estate specialists Bruce and Jean Nemovitz, Hair Construction, Current Electric, Outdoor Living Unlimited, and Kohler Services. Join us every week to discuss ways to weatherproof your home here on News Radio 620 WTMJ. If you can't catch us live, visit Wagner's Home Improvement Showcase under Features on WTMJ.com. This is WTMJ Jeff Wagner for Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses, here to tell you about Built Right's 95th anniversary sale, which is on now. It's all about your comfort, your style, and your home at Built Right. 4 generations, 95 years strong. They are celebrating 17 years in their Greenfield location. Look, Built Right always saves you money. The 3rd and 4th generation family members are on hand working in the store along with their amazing team with over 400 years of experience. Be ready for your holiday guests with thousands of items in stock plus 500 mattresses. In addition, special orders are faster in 2023. Built Right has affordable, better quality furniture and mattresses for everyone from petite to plus size. USA made, small scale, Amish made, real solid wood furniture. Over 48 models of power lift recliners in stock. Free in-store design services as well. Built Right, voted best place to shop and winner of the Home Furnishings Association's 2023 National Retailer of the Year Award. How cool is that? They're open Monday through Saturday, 10 in the morning till 6 at night. Sunday they're closed to be with family. When you get there, tell them WTMJ's Jeff Wagner sent you to locally and family-owned Built Right, 5430 West Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
Hey, the future of joint pain relief is right here in Milwaukee. It's QC Kinetics, Advanced Regenerative Medicine, and it's amazing. Hey, it's Greg Matzik. If you've been told more steroids or surgery are your only options, don't be so fast. Get a second opinion and learn more about how you can harness your own body's healing agents to attack that joint pain. I'm talking lasting relief. QC Kinetics doesn't mask the pain. These treatments go to the very root of the problem, using concentrated healing properties placed directly in your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue. Imagine living your life this fall with no more pain in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, or your back, with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Hey, life is all about motion, and QC Kinetics is giving people their lives back with these all-natural treatments. Call the local medical professionals and get a free consultation today. QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. Call 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Again, 414-285-3474.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
So very glad to have you with us. All right. I did not get the roller coaster gene in our family. My brother did. My brother loves roller coasters, and for years and years he would take his family, take the kids, and they'd go to these places where they have these big old roller coasters and stuff. I was not that guy. I mean, I've ridden on Space Mountain, I've ridden on the Rock and Roll roller coaster. There's no way. For example, if you're at Disney World or Universal Studios, they've got this thing called, I don't know what they call it now, but it was at the time it was like the Incredible Hulk ride, and this thing goes from like 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, and you're upside down right away. That is not my idea of entertainment. Now, if you love roller coasters, my response is go with God. That's fine. I'm just saying it's not the right thing for me. So in many respects, going to Disney, and I've been to Disneyland on a couple occasions, and I've been to Disney World on more occasions, it's kind of a waste for me. But, I mean, I've been there as part of family things because, I'm not going to stand in line to ride the Rock and Roll roller coaster. I will take part in some of the rides and things like that, but it's not the value of going to the amusement park is kind of lost on me, and I always inevitably walk out hearing the tune, it's a small world after all, and that makes my head want to explode. But I appreciate that people love Disney. What I have trouble understanding is how people can afford Disney. And I say this seriously because, I mean, I can remember there were times, and my brother belonged, I think he sold his interest in this, but he belonged to the Disney Vacation Club, which was kind of like a timeshare sort of thing. But we didn't. But we'd go down there, and, I mean, to stay on property in some of these nicer places, I'll be serious. I could be at Pebble Beach for 4 days, cost me less than 4 days at Disney. I could be in Hawaii. 4 days in Hawaii cost me less than 4 days at Disney. I can be in Europe, and I could be in Paris, and 4 days in Paris costs less than 4 days in Disney. And that's fine. It's a different experience, and nobody's holding a gun to your head and making you go there. But my reaction has always been, I do not understand how people of average or even above average means, how they do this. I literally don't, because it's almost like you got to take out a second mortgage to figure out how you're going to take a family, particularly if you're talking about taking if you got 3 or 4 kids, how you're going to take them there. Now, I bring this up because here's the story out of the LA Times. Disneyland, this is Disneyland, but Disney World's done the same, but this is Disneyland. Disneyland Resort announced yesterday that it has increased single-day admission prices on its most popular days by nearly 9%, while parking fees have risen nearly 17%, and the cost of using the ride-jumping Genie Plus service has gone up 20%. The lowest price ticket for a single-day visit on low-demand days at Disneyland and California Adventure will remain at $104. That's the lowest price. The daily ticket for days when demand is highest, which was $179, has now increased to $194, an 8.4% increase. Prices for other tiers have risen between 4 and 9%. The 2-day pass will now cost $310, up from $285, and then it goes on. The Disneyland Resort is increasing the price of its Genie Plus program, an expedited front-of-line access service that park-goers can purchase. The pre-approval rate has now increased to $30. So, let's just go back to the single-day daily ticket for days when demand is highest. It's now $194. Let me round up. So let's call it $200 because the math becomes easy. So mom and dad and 2 teenagers, for example, you go there, you're talking about $800 for a day. And this is before you buy a souvenir. This is before you buy a hamburger. This is before you pay for parking. This is before you figure out what your hotel room is going to be. The 2-day pass, $310. So again, family of 4, you're talking over $1,200 for 2 days. Now, this is Disneyland. Disney World, same sort of thing. Let's see, Wall Street Journal story here. Disney World is raising its various add-ons. Disney World is separately raising prices of parking and annual passes. The price for date-based passes hasn't changed, but they're looking at it. All right, our number, 855-616-1620, which is the old National Bank talk and text line. I never tell people how to spend their money, and I'm not arguing about value. What I am just stunned by is how unaffordable it seems to me that Disney is making these experiences for most people. Okay, and we'll take Disneyland as the example. $1,000, $800 for 4 people just to get in the door before you drop any money at all on anything else. Are we at a point where we're really kind of like killing the golden goose? I mean, how can people afford this? 855-616-1620. One of the reasons I was talking to my brother that he dropped his timeshare thing is that the kids are older or getting older. And secondly, just all the costs and all the add-ons. And if you go to Florida, they used to have, what do they call it, like the Magic Bus or something like that. It would take you for free if you were staying on property from the airport up to Disney, so you didn't have to rent a car or pay. That's gone. So it's not only the big ticket prices, but also all these nickel and dime things that are happening that aren't really nickels and dimes. 855-616-1620. Is Disney pricing itself out of the range of most quote-unquote normal people? Let's start with Mike. Mike, you're on WTMJ. Hello.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good. What do you think?
Well, okay, well, right in my hand here, I'm holding my and my mother's tickets from Disneyland, August 19th of 1961 when we were there.
1961.
And,
so that's right about when it opened, right?
No, it opened I think in 55 or 56.
Okay. All right.
The big deal was Khrushchev wanted to go and they wouldn't let him go, if you remember that story.
Okay.
But at any rate, here it is, 12 adventures in Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom, Disneyland. Adult, $3.75. Children, $2.75.
Wow. How old were you? Do you remember? Do you remember the trip?
9.
9.
I was
Got it.
9.
Yeah, that's it. No, thanks.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, and if you actually bring that up to today's money, what would that be? Around $40 maybe for an adult, and maybe about $30 for children's.
Yeah, I'd have to. Yeah, I mean, you're talking
crazy.
a long time, but yeah, no, it is crazy. No, thanks for calling. And by the way, Mike, you are right. July 17th, 1955. That's when the gates at Disneyland opened for its first guests. 1955. 855-616-1620. Again, I don't tell people. I'm not lecturing people how to spend their money, but I'm looking at these costs. And again, this is just to get in the door during peak times at Disneyland, and Disney World is bigger, but just to get in the tour peak times at Disneyland, $200 a piece for one day. I mean, just think of that. And again, if you go to Anaheim, you're staying, let's say you're staying overnight or something like that. So you got the hotel costs, you've got the food costs. Wow. Pat in Germantown. Pat, you're on WTMJ. Hello.
Hi, how you doing today?
Good. What do you think?
Well, this is before the pandemic. My wife and I were going to take our 6 kids to Disney World. We added up all the costs, the airfares, hotel, and everything, and felt it was way out of line. For only a couple $1,000s more, we took all the families on a 10-day trip up to Alaska. We rented an Airbnb. We had gotten good price on tickets and that, and it was a much more educational thing for our grandchildren than going to Disney World.
Well, I mean, yeah, thanks for calling. I mean, Pat, I don't mean to diss Disney World. I mean, I didn't get the roller coaster gene in our family, so a lot of the stuff is lost on me. But as I get older, my tolerance for crowds goes down a lot, and so you're in a lot of times, especially go to the peak times. It's really crowded. There's long lines to get on the stuff, and so you have to make that commitment. But the pricing, I mean, it's one of these things where it seems to me you got to really plan ahead for this and make a decision. I mean, there's no question about it. Jeff, Disney is pricing itself out of the market. However, tickets per person for a professional football game are close to $200 in some markets for people. Well, right, I understand that there's the expense. Jeff, it's the Disney adults. It's people in their late 20s and 30s with no kids, and they don't care how much it costs to go to Disney World. My wife and I took our daughter there in 2019. We called them Disney brats because they would literally skip our daughter in line just to get their picture taken with one of their characters. Let's blame those millennials again. Jeff, what's truly sad is that there's almost a sense of peer pressure for families to go to Disney when you have young kids. Oh, you have to go to Disney at least once. It's what we do in America. Yeah, that's the idea. And I understand. I mean, people are making the point that, Jeff, have you tried to buy a ticket to a Taylor Swift concert yet? My answer would be no. But what I'm really trying to think, because my guess is most people that go to Disney don't just go for a day. I mean, maybe they do. But my guess is if you're going to travel down to Florida, you're going to take the kids to see the mouse. What happens is you're going to be there for a couple days. You're going to go to do the Magic Kingdom, and then you're going to do you're going to do the whatever, the MGM, the movie thing, whatever they call that now, and you're going to do Epcot. So you're going to be there for a couple days, and maybe you stay on property, maybe you don't. But I mean, it's incredible what the cost is. And a number of people, again, are pointing out that, sporting events are as expensive as well. And yes, that's true. But like I say, you're not trying to figure out how to, if you go up to the Packers game and, you buy the tickets on the secondary market to get into Lambeau, that's a one-day sort of thing. It's not, we've got all the travel expenses that are associated with this. Joe in Sussex. Joe, you're on WTMJ. Hello.
Hi. I lived in Hawaii 12 years, and what happened is the same thing in Waikiki, where the hotels just got so priced out because of the foreigners. We can't even go. Local people can't even go and spend a hotel. It's so... Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, your phone line dropped off there. Yeah, I mean, Hawaii, right, Hawaii is... I mean, look, and the cost of everything is going up. Key West is one of my happy places. Well, it's just, normally we used to go down there at least once a year, and our place in Florida, you can hop on they've got a ferry that goes from Fort Myers down to Key West, and so it's an easy way to get there, so you don't have to worry about driving or flying. But even at that, the prices of stuff have gone up. It's to the point where, okay, we used to stay at this hotel, and it was really stupid money to stay at the hotel we like, and now it's not just stupid money; it's insane money. And I don't think we're going back this year. It's just like, even if you can afford it, you think, well, it's just not a good value that's out there. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out. Jeff, I love Disney. We've always wanted to go back because it's beautiful between Thanksgiving and Christmas, but sadly, prices are way out of our reach now. Jeff, my daughter and I still go every 3 years, but understand it's going to be just ridiculous. And that's why we spread it out over several years, not to do it very often. And I think, that's probably how you do it. And again, it's one of these points where if this is what you want to do and this is how you spend your money, go ahead. I think that's absolutely tremendous. But bottom line of all this is just be prepared. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
Your weekly Bucks breakdown is back.
They want to win equally as bad as I do.
Bucks Weekly on WTMJ.
Now he joins a team where you have, as he has put it, the best player in the league.
And a new year brings new faces.
You'll see that I've gotten better year after year after year after year.
Get the latest news, analysis, and insight on your Milwaukee Bucks all season long. Bucks Weekly with Justin Garcia every Monday night at 8 on WTMJ. And catch the podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Think identity theft won't happen to you? Think again. There's a new victim every 3 seconds in the U.S. Over 15 million this year alone. And many don't even know they're victims. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss, even when you monitor your credit. If your identity is stolen, your dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Looking for top-notch personal protection? The Smith & Wesson Equalizer is here to level the playing field. Easy to rack slide, easy to control ergonomic grip. It's designed for you. With a 10, 13, and 15-round magazine included, size up for better control or size down for easier concealment. Don't miss out on the opportunity to upgrade your safety. Visit your local dealer now. To learn more about the Equalizer, visit smith-wesson.com. Smith & Wesson, empowering Americans. All capacity sizes may not be available in your jurisdiction. Be sure to check your local laws and regulations.
Hi, John McGivern here. Did you know Network Health Medicare Advantage plans start at $0 a month? And you can get the extra benefits you need, like dental, vision, over-the-counter items, and more? I know because I'm a member myself. Call 833-7-NETWORK to learn more today. Network Health Medicare Advantage plans include PPO plans with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Network Health Medicare Advantage plans depends on contract renewal.
I'm Randy Miller. In 1969, my Uncle Lou started a roofing and siding business called All Right. That company joined NARI, the National Association Remodeling Industry. 50 years later, I'm proud to be at the helm of both All Right and NARI Milwaukee as president. Integrity, ethics, and high standards build a legacy both in business and in life. I learned this from my Uncle Lou and the NARI leaders before me. Learn more at ALLRITE remodeling.com/NARI.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Jeff, I'm on a plane to Europe in a minute. Say no to Disney. So much more to learn and see in the world. Great America is still about $50 for those people who are roller coaster fans. Jeff, for me, Disney is meant to be a couple of times in a lifetime trip. 10% jump in the cost will not change my travel plans. Well, that's if that's where you want to go, I think that's great. And like I say, I've been there a couple times. I can't imagine going back. I think Disney may be in my rearview mirror, but you just never know. Okay, I want to switch gears. Last night, Bob Dylan was in town, played a show at the Riverside Theater. I mentioned before when they first announced this concert, the worst concert I have ever been to was a Bob Dylan concert at Summerfest a number of years ago. Willie Nelson opened for him, and I'd seen Bob Dylan back in the heyday, back in the 1970s and stuff. And I mean, I like a lot of the early Dylan songs. And I appreciate, what a gifted songwriter he is. But I kind of lost touch with Bob Dylan over the years. So I remember I said, okay, he's playing at Summerfest, and we got 4 tickets, and we went to see the show at Summerfest, and it was, without a doubt, by far the worst show that I have ever attended. It was awful. Willie was great. Willie came out, did his 45 minutes, Whiskey River, all that stuff. But Dylan was, he came out, he did not interact with the crowd at all. He sat behind his piano. He didn't play any. Well, I won't say he didn't play any of his quote-unquote hits, but the 1 or 2 hits he played, he had changed the arrangement, so you didn't recognize it till 3/4 of the way through the song. Oh, my gosh. And no interaction with the crowd. It was just, it was a lousy concert. I mean, by far and away, the worst concert I've been to. And I've been to some bad ones. I remember at the Riverside Theater, Rickie Lee Jones back in the day, she was just hacked off at the crowd and screaming at the crowd. I mean, I've seen bad shows. I've seen shows where the performers have kind of lost their voice or whatever and tried to struggle through. I've seen shows where they clearly didn't want to be there. But this Dylan show stood out in a whole list of bad shows. This Dylan show stood out as just absolutely yuck. So I was kind of curious. And yesterday he played, and I of course, I was not there. I don't know anybody who went, but I'm looking at the local newspaper, and the local critic was there, and I'm not sure. Piet Levy, how can I say this? I think reviewers, you take them with a grain of salt, and they just give their opinions on stuff, and I have no perspective. He liked the concert. He talked about, he kind of gushed. He said it was the first show of 2 sold-out concerts at the Riverside Theater, part of the tour, played for 1 hour and 45 minutes. And, he loved the show, 17 songs, said it was good. At the end of the show, Dylan came out, was pumping his fist, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm glad to hear that. And I certainly hope that all the people who paid for the tickets enjoyed the show. That's good. That's a fun thing. If you're going to go see a performer, you don't want to be disappointed, especially a performer who you followed for their entire life, and you're paying big money to go see that. So I think that's great. But it doesn't change the fact that, like I say, without a doubt, the worst concert I saw was Bob Dylan back at Summerfest, 10 years ago or whenever that was. Okay, we've been talking about a lot of heavy stuff over the course of the last 2+ hours. 855-616-1620. Let's revisit a topic we discussed a few months ago. All right, the local critic says Bob Dylan was great. That's super. I'm glad for it. What's the worst concert you ever went to? 855-616-1620. The one that, for whatever reason, just stands out as being that real stinker. Maybe you thought it was going to be really good and it disappointed. Whatever. That concert where you just walked out of it going, man, I want that 2 hours of my life back, and I can't believe I paid fill in the blank for the tickets. 855-616-1620, the worst concert you ever attended. We discuss in just a moment.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
If you can't get a good night's sleep, let me ask you, are you breathing well? Because if you're snoring or waking up each night with a stuffed up nose, or frustrated with your CPAP mask, the root of your sleep problem lies in your breathing triangle. And if any one of those passages isn't working, you won't sleep well. And there's no mattress, pill, or other gimmick that can fix that. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. A recipe for a good night's sleep starts with an open airway. Now, there are devices that can help solve snoring or sleep apnea problems. If you walk into a sleep center, know you'll walk out with a CPAP. And you might find other options elsewhere, but the simple truth is, if your nose doesn't work properly, no device will help. Only at Advent will you find every effective snoring and sleep apnea solution, along with a world-class team that can get your nose working properly again.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Have you heard about The Gathering?
Why are you being so mysterious?
The Gathering is a mystery. It's an enigma wrapped in a puzzle and placed behind your sofa.
What are you talking about?
He's talking about the Gathering console table from Penny Mustard.
What's so mysterious about a table?
What's mysterious about a table that spans the length of your sofa with long legs and a top that's deceivingly wide?
Yeah.
Well, I'm perplexed.
The Gathering console table fits perfectly behind your sofa, providing a snack bar for parties, a buffet for pizza night, a homework station for the kids, and extra seating for the holidays.
How can it be all those things?
I told you, it's mysterious.
Thanks, Sherlock.
The Gathering console table starting at just $67 a month with only 1 penny down and no interest until October of 2025 through October 15th at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Mysterious versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Jeff, I was at the same Dylan concert that you were. I couldn't agree with you more. It was horrible. I also saw Peter Gabriel there a few years back. He wasn't any better. Jeff, I saw the Grateful Dead in Madison years ago. The only good thing was it was free. If I would have driven, I would have left after the first 3 songs. Jeff, Elton John in Vegas. I think it was the red piano thing. It was just weird. Jeff, Bonnie Raitt, she was too high to perform. Warren Zevon. I'm a big fan of Warren Zevon, Werewolves of London. Years ago, I saw him in this relatively small venue, and Warren Zevon had a lot of demons. He was a raging alcoholic, and he was dead drunk. I mean, and the show was late in starting, and he came out on the stage, and it was one of these uncomfortable things. Tony in Green Bay. Tony, you're on WTMJ.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Tony.
I have seen Phil Collins at the Bradley Center a few years before he showed up as Phil Collins and his big band at Summerfest.
Okay.
And the Bradley Center concert was fantastic. And so when he came up at Summerfest, I said, we've got to go back and see him again. And when he came out, all he did was drum. He had another band of people around him that played a bunch of songs that nobody knew.
Right.
And he promised halfway through the show, when everybody was leaving, that he would eventually play some Phil Collins stuff at the end. He played one obscure song, and then he was done.
Yeah.
And everybody booed, and there was about half the audience left. So
Yeah, that's always disappointing. Thanks for calling me. I told this story before. A couple of years, a year and a half ago or so, I saw, maybe last year, I saw Van Morrison. We'd gone to Las Vegas, and Jimmy Buffett, who's now passed away, he had canceled the ticket because he's sick, and so I spent stupid money to see Van Morrison. It was the same thing. I mean, was it a good show? Yeah, but he didn't play any of the hits. I mean, hardly any of the hits, and everybody's walking out at the end going, we came to see him play some of these things. Jeff, my worst concert was Neil Young's Greendale album tour show. I love Neil Young and his music. In fact, his Harvest Moon song was our wedding song, but this one stunk. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this on WTMJ.
Hey, the future of joint pain relief is right here in Milwaukee. It's QC Kinetics, Advanced Regenerative Medicine, and it's amazing. Hey, it's Greg Matzik. If you've been told more steroids or surgery are your only options, don't be so fast. Get a second opinion and learn more about how you can harness your own body's healing agents to attack that joint pain. I'm talking lasting relief. QC Kinetics doesn't mask the pain. These treatments go to the very root of the problem, using concentrated healing properties placed directly in your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue. Imagine living your life this fall with no more pain in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, or your back, with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Hey, life is all about motion, and QC Kinetics is giving people their lives back with these all-natural treatments. Call the local medical professionals and get a free consultation today. QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. Call 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Again, 414-285-3474.
This is WTMJ Jeff Wagner for Kohler Services by Kohler Company. This completely personalized shower and bath remodel service makes it easy to get the bathing experience of your dreams. As an exclusive provider of Kohler Luxstone showers and Kohler walk-in baths, Kohler Services provides fast, professional installation and care for life. The Kohler Luxstone collection combines durable crust stone walls, powerful shower heads, and customizable accessories to create your ideal shower. The Kohler walk-in bath offers the perfect blend of safety and comfort so you can maintain an independent lifestyle with the added bonus of a spa-like experience. And everything is made by Kohler, the global leader in bathroom design and innovation for 150 years. Check out Kohler Services at the NARI Show going on this week, October 13th through the 15th. Be among the first 50 people to mention my name. Go up to the booth, say, hey, Jeff Wagner sent me, and they're going to give you a Kohler gift. How about that? Visit KohlerServicesWI.com today for an exclusive offer, flexible financing options, and a request a free quotation. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Exergen thermometers are a top choice of medical professionals at highly ranked hospitals across the U.S. Accuracy matters, so make Exergen the chosen thermometer for your home and family.
With Social Security, the longer you wait, the more money you may get. Deciding when to start taking your Social Security benefits is one of the most important retirement decisions you'll make. Our team of advisors at Drake & Associates can show you the options and help you decide on the best decision for you and your situation. You spent decades paying in, optimize what comes out. Our experienced team can help you squeeze every penny out of your Social Security benefits. I'd love to get you our Retirement Ready Toolkit, which includes guides such as the Social Security decision. To receive this complimentary toolkit, call or text SS to 414-409-9982. That's calling or texting SS to 414-409-9982.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, and SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
This is Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Okay, the reviewer for the local newspaper says Dylan gave a great show last night. Crowd was pleased. I'm glad of that. Like when I saw Bob Dylan at Summerfest a few years back, it was awful. By far and away the worst concert I have ever attended. We're talking about the worst show that you have seen. Mike in Illinois. Hi, Mike. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jeff. How are you?
Good.
It was funny, your lead-in song there was Eminem's Front by The Who, and that was one of the best concerts I've ever seen.
Right.
But the worst one I ever saw was the Cars at Alpine Valley. I'm not a huge fan. I've always thought their music was good, though. They were kind of like the beginning of the New Wave era, but they had no emotion on stage. I mean, literally motionless. And that just, you couldn't get into it.
Right.
So even though the music is good, the stage presence was horrible.
Yeah, thanks to call. A number of people are, Don Ho in Hawaii, he was drunk and said he was sick of singing Tiny Bubbles, but he'd sing it anyways. Jeff, I too saw that Phil Collins concert at Summerfest. Worst concert ever. Somebody's agreeing. I have to agree with the last texter about Neil Young's Greendale show. It was terrible. I'm a huge fan. That was the worst ever. Jeff, worst ever for me, Vince Neil at Waukesha County Fair. Then a number of people are just talking about different folks that they saw, and one of them saying, I went to see a show with Smash Mouth when they were big back in the 2000s. In their prime, in the early aughts, the band was clearly intoxicated or on something. They were trying to bait the women attendees to dance at the foot of the stage and take off their tops. This is at a private event. Here, we're going to have a birthday party or something. We're going to pay to bring these people in. We want all the women to dance in front and take off their tops. Yeah, really classy act. So again, look, I'm glad this show, let's believe the reviewer for the moment. Let's say that everybody was really happy at the Dylan show. That's great. I think there's another show maybe tonight or whenever that is. Samantha says yes. Hope it's great. Hope people enjoy it. Glad you get your money's worth. And glad, I was going to say maybe he learned something from his previous performances. I don't know about that. But, when you go to the concerts, you pay all this money. It's nice to see if the performer delivers and you come back and you say, hey, that's a pretty good show. Unfortunately, we've all got our horror stories. When we come back, let's find out what John and Greg have on their minds on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
Hi, there is an accident on I-43 north